there. Winds will be out of the north at 10 to 20 miles per hour, gusting to 30. And highs today, only going to be topping out in the upper 40s. Keep listening for more updates throughout the day from News 3, your weather authority.
Sunny, breezy, 41 in Las Vegas. I'm John Shapiro on the new 101.5 FM, 720 AM KDON, Las Vegas' only FM news talk station. With a check on the roads, here's John Michaels.
From the Lerner Road Traffic Studio.
This report sponsored by the Exogen Temporal Scanner Thermometer. Watch for slowing for the crash on the 215 Beltway eastbound at the airport connector vehicles off to the right, and the accident 95 southbound at Eastern. Those vehicles remain off-right. That accident still active, but now in the clearing stage. Slowing on the northbound side is much improved. Just some moderate slowing between Charleston up to the Spaghetti Bowl. And on the west side, 95 is almost done. Still some light slowing in the Rainbow Curve inbound. 30 million people come down with the flu every year. The best way to tell if it's a cold or flu is by taking your temperature. No one does that better than the Exogen Temporal Scanner. Learn more at exogen.com. John Michaels from the KDON Traffic Center.
It's open enrollment season, and Medishare is the Christian healthcare sharing ministry that saves most families about $500 a month. Google Medishare and see if it's a fit for you. Medishare, healthcare you can believe in.
I'm Jim Snyder.
And I'm Marie Mortera. We want to thank you for making News 3 your #1 choice for news.
Every weeknight at 11, you can count on us to have the big story of the day.
Plus breaking news that matters to you.
Jim Snyder and Marie Mortera. News 3 live at 11. Right now, during the Best Mattress President's Day sale, save up to $500 on select Tempur-Pedic adjustable sets. #1 in the world in customer satisfaction. Plus, get 72 months no-interest financing. Good, but we can do better. So we're also giving $300 instant store credit and free delivery. Hi, I'm Dave Mizrahi, owner of Best Mattress. And whether you're a Lincoln lover, Roosevelt rooter, or Fillmore fan, celebrate President's Day by saving money right now at Best Mattress. Home of the Sleep Easy Guarantee. See store for details.
Hi, it's Alan Masters. Join me and my brother David for Advice Line, 10 to midnight, Monday through Friday on 720 KDON and 101.5 FM. That's Advice Line, America's live radio counseling program. If you've got problems, we've got answers. Monday through Friday, 10 to midnight.
If your retirement plan is on set it and forget it, it's time to take control. Tune in for Financial Safari with America's wealth coach and best-selling author, Coach Pete D'Arruda. For more than 25 years, Coach Pete has been helping people just like you plan for retirement. Join Coach Pete every week as he discusses topics like why your retirement plan should also be an income plan and how to make sure you're getting the most out of your 401k.
Financial Safari with Coach Pete, Saturday morning at 10 a.m. and Sunday afternoon at 2 on 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDON.
V is for victory, except on Saturdays when V is for veterans. That's Veterans Talk, the Forgotten Promise. Join us every Saturday from noon to 1.
Veterans Talk every Saturday at noon on 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDWN.
Hi, this is Harvey Blankfeld, host of Las Vegas Real Estate Now. We are saying farewell to Tuesdays at 9 a.m. and moving to Saturdays at 11 a.m. Please do tune in every Saturday at 11 a.m. and learn about real estate right here on the new 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDON, the talk of Las Vegas.
This is Lorraine Hunt Bono, inviting you to tune in for Breaking Bread with Bono. Join my husband, Dennis Bono, as celebrities share with him their intimate and humorous stories. Saturdays, 5 to 6 p.m., right here on KDON.
101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDON, the talk of Las Vegas. The opinions of the hosts on KDWN are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of this station, its management, or Beasley Media Group. Right now, the day's biggest news stories from a Vegas perspective. This is the Vegas Take with Sharp and Shapiro.
What's up, everybody? It is the Vegas Take, Sharp and Shapiro on a Tuesday. So glad you could join us. Oh, yeah, we have a lot to get to. We're going to get to the caucus here in a few minutes. Julia Manchester she's a political reporter from The Hill. Oh, my God, what a mess. What a mess in Iowa. We will get to that here in just a few minutes. A lot to get to in regards to Rush Limbaugh. A lot of people on the right are, putting their feelings out there and feeling sorrow for Rush Limbaugh. Well, guess what? I'm not feeling sorry for Rush at all. We will get to that and the reasons why I will not be shedding a tear for Rush Limbaugh, who just announced he has lung cancer. We'll be getting to that at the bottom of the hour. Coming up in hour number 3, Frank Marino. Of course, you remember the show Divas in Las Vegas. Well, now he is going to be the MC of Legends in Concert. He's a guy that's been performing here in Vegas for a number of years. I think longer than I've been alive, actually. So Marino will be joining us in studio. And then this is a really cool story. It's the connection. You know, we had Oscar Goodman on the show last week talking about what Kobe Bryant meant to Las Vegas. Well, a woman by the name of Jennifer Miller Gonzalez, she's had interactions with Kobe Bryant, and she's going to talk to us about what Kobe meant to women's basketball in Las Vegas, specifically adult women's basketball leagues. That's right, Kobe was a big part of that. So she's going to come in and talk to us about her interactions with Kobe and how he helped pave the way for women's basketball here in Las Vegas. It really is a touching story and a great one. But as I mentioned, it was caucus chaos yesterday in Iowa. We still don't have the results. To try to make sense of all this, very happy to have Julia Manchester. She is a political reporter for The Hill who joins us right now on the line. Julia, thank you so much for being here. How are you?
Thanks for having me. I'm good. A little tired, but good.
How late were you up last night covering this thing?
So I stayed up till about 1 p.m. or 1 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, but then I had to get up at 3 a.m. for a television hit to chat more about the Iowa caucuses. But I didn't miss much in between because we still don't have the results.
Yeah, let's talk about that because, you know, I don't even think it's an argument. This is the biggest day for the Democratic Party, you know, since the elections between Hillary and Trump. I mean, this was a huge day. How the heck did they find a way to screw it up? What is their explanation?
So their explanation is that essentially that a phone app the precincts were relying on to transfer those results didn't function properly and is, you know, partially responsible for the ongoing delay in results. They also cited some reporting errors. That's the official, response from the Iowa Democratic Party. But you have a lot of campaigns, namely the Biden campaign, whose general counsel sent a letter to the Iowa Democratic Party last night, are really just demanding more in-depth answers. We're hearing that the Democratic Party in the state is supposed to hold a bit of a conference call or meeting with representatives from the campaign. So we should potentially find out the goings-on of that meeting shortly. But yeah, lots of questions about that campaign. I would say another campaign that is probably a bit angry with how this all played out is the Sanders campaign. Remember, the Sanders campaign, according to polling, was really supposed to hit this one out of the park after polling so well and essentially nearly winning the caucus 4 years ago. So a lot of unhappy campaign officials this morning.
I mean, listen, I think the Democratic Party, they should be criticized for this. I think it's inexcusable when you talk about an app. And by the way, let me ask you this. Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't this app supposed to be used in a couple weeks in Nevada? Can you talk a little bit about that? Because I would assume it's not going to be used.
Yeah, I think it was originally supposed to be used, but now I think they're definitely backtracking on that or trying to troubleshoot it. Remember, this all comes really as the United States, as well as a number of other democracies around the world, have to deal with the issue of hacking and technical errors that could make us very vulnerable to any foreign enemies or foreign adversaries, really. In 2016, obviously, there were Russian efforts to interfere in the U.S. elections. Intelligence agencies say that will continue in 2020 as it continued in 2018. So this comes at a very concerning time, I think, in the hacking world, and as tensions really continue to rise with, countries like Russia or China. So it's, very concerning, I think, for voters, knowing that, this could lead to our systems or voting systems being so vulnerable.
It's amazing that you look at Afghanistan and some of these other countries around the world, they have no problem tallying votes. Why can't we get it right in this country? That's the sentiment I'm hearing, not necessarily from people on the right, but from people on the left.
I got to say, I am from the state of Florida, and I remember 2000 as an elementary school kid. So I have a lot to say about that.
Yeah.
It just seems like it's really a constant problem in the United States. And we're supposed to be so sophisticated. We have access to this technology and all of these resources, but we keep getting it wrong. And, if we're going to tout ourselves as a leading democracy in the world, then our election results and our election processes definitely have to reflect that as well.
Absurd. She is Julia Manchester, a political reporter for The Hill. She was up till 1 a.m. covering the caucus chaos, which is trending on Twitter. Okay, Julia, here's something else that I noticed that was trending on Twitter this morning. Tom Perez resign. What do you think about that?
Well, I think the DNC is taking quite a bit of fire on a number of issues. I mean, this was definitely more of, an Iowa Democratic Party issue, but that would fall under, I think, the umbrella or is connected to the Democratic National Committee and such. But Tom Perez is also getting a lot of pushback for, the DNC essentially changing the rules. So Michael Bloomberg could potentially appear on stage. The DNC over the past couple of months has also gotten pushback for, these debate thresholds that a number of candidates of color, such as, Cory Booker or Julian Castro, who have since dropped out, they weren't able to get in. So now that Bloomberg could potentially qualify for these debates, there's a lot of people scratching their heads and some outrage, saying you have two billionaires essentially on stage right now and questioning whether that is actually representative of the Democratic Party.
Yeah, I don't think it is, and I certainly don't want another billionaire to represent the Democratic Party. That's just my personal opinion. All right, Julia. So when are these results? All of them? What are they saying? When are they all going to come out?
Well, we're thinking they will definitely come out sometime today. But we will definitely, we're keeping an eye on it. There's supposed to be some sort of, like I said, a conference call, but we haven't gotten any, official clue as to when they will come out.
Gosh, that is just absurd. Well, you're doing a great job covering this. Makes it a little bit more difficult for reporters like yourself. But we certainly appreciate you getting up early and talking to us. Hope you get some rest, Julia, and I hope these results come out sooner than later. But we really do appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right, there you go. Julia Manchester, political reporter for The Hill. Yeah, she makes a good point. Back in 2000 when it was George Bush and Al Gore. We all remember that, right? I was 20 years old, and that was a mess in Florida. Why can't the Democrats get it right here? This is a joke. This was the biggest day for the Democratic Party, really, in several years. Make no mistake about it. And we still don't know the results. Absolutely absurd and a disgrace and an embarrassment. I don't care whether it's the left or the right. We should be able to tally up votes within a few hours. This is just not cool, man. It's not cool. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we have some unbelievable audio of a voter in the caucus who was going to vote for Pete Buttigieg, and she's now not voting for Pete Buttigieg because she found out he was gay. That's right. Newsflash, Pete Buttigieg is gay. This audio is just unbelievable. It is insane, and we're going to play it for you when we come back. This is why I believe there should be an IQ test for anybody who votes. I don't care if it's a caucus, general election, whatever it may be. This audio is priceless, and we're going to play it for you coming up next. You're listening to The Vegas Take on the all-new 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDON.
Here is some great news. If you missed the deadline to sign up for health insurance, or if you sign up for a plan that you're just not happy with, you still have a choice. It's called MediShare. It's the affordable alternative to health insurance, and it's worked beautifully for 25 years. They have more than 400,000 members now around the country. MediShare is a Christian healthcare sharing ministry, and over the years, members have shared over $3 billion of each other's medical bills, so they could help share your needs too. And best of all, you could save a lot of money with MediShare. The typical savings for a family is about $500 a month. Your savings could be more or less, but think about what you could do with that extra money every month. You're not stuck with a high-cost health plan. You can join MediShare anytime, so call them today and check it out. Here's the number to find out more, and there's no pressure. They are super easy to talk to. Call 844-91-BIBLE. That's 844-91-BIBLE. 844-91-BIBLE.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Imagine crossing a street busy with traffic. Against the light.
Watch where you're going!
Wearing a blindfold. Would you do this? Probably not. It's one risk obviously not worth taking. Some risks aren't as obvious, yet could be just as deadly, like the risk for type 2 diabetes. If you're overweight or over 45, if you're not very active, or don't eat as healthy as you should, there's an easy test you can take to find out your risk. It's free, and in less than a minute, you'll know if you're at risk for this deadly disease. Just go to diabetes.org/take-the-test or call 1-800-DIABETES. Because type 2 diabetes is one risk you can't afford to take. Take the diabetes risk test and stop diabetes before it stops you. A message from the American Diabetes Association.
Mark Levin, weekdays 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Now back to the Vegas Take on 101.5 FM, 720 a.m. KDON.
All right, welcome back. It is the Vegas Take, Sharp and Shapiro. Coming up here, the bottom of the hour, why I will not be shedding one tear or I feel literally no sadness for Rush Limbaugh. I'll explain why coming up here in just a few minutes. But this is some wild and crazy audio. We always love wild and crazy audio. So we discovered that there are some voters on the left that were planning on voting for Pete Buttigieg, and they just found out while caucusing last night that Pete Buttigieg is gay. Oh my God, what a shocker. Stein, tell us about this. Put your mic on, you fool.
On, man.
All right, there you go. All right, you're good
Pete
now.
Pete Buttigieg is in fact a gay man. It's been pretty well known.
Oh my God!
For the past
what
year.
a shocker!
He's been campaigning for the past year.
Gosh, I thought he was straight.
No, well, that came as news to one irate Iowa voter who was at one of these. If you watch CNN or Fox or any of the stations last night, they showed these caucus sites. There's these precincts all over the state of Iowa where the voters go in person and then they debate who they like and whatever. And so anyway, long story short, this woman, she voted for Pete Buttigieg, but then somehow in the interim, she found out that he was a gay man, that he was married to another man, and she went up to one of these precinct captains for Buttigieg, and she angrily demanded that she get her vote back.
All right, let's listen to the audio.
So are you saying that he has a same-sex partner? Yes. Are you kidding? Yeah, he's married to him, yes.
All right, hold on, stop.
Then I don't...
Stop it for a second. Pause it. Are you telling me that this woman actually did not know that Pete Buttigieg is gay? Like, this is for real. This I'm not being punked. Like, Ashton Kutcher isn't going to walk out here and like, you know, show some gay porn or something, and it's going to be a joke. How is it possible?
There's no indication that it's a joke.
How is it possible this woman is that stupid and ill-informed?
Well, I think when you see her, I think you'd understand.
Okay. All right.
I posted the video on our Twitter page.
All right, so let's take off where we left off here. Go ahead.
He's married to him, yes. We need to find out if that's serious. Well, then I don't want anybody like that in the White House. So can I have my card back? I don't know. You signed it. We could go ask. I never knew that. Well, so the whole point of it is, though, he's a human being, right? Just like you and me, and shouldn't really matter. That's what. Well, he better read the Bible.
All right. She says you better read the Bible. Boy, sounds like some other talk show host in Las Vegas. Better read the Bible. First of all, this woman's a Democrat? She sounds like an evangelical Christian to the right who's never committed sin in her life, and all of a sudden she's not going to vote somebody based on sexuality. Let me tell you something, folks. There's idiots on the left and the right. This woman is an idiot. She has an IQ of about 20, first of all. You're voting for, she might be the only woman on the planet who doesn't know Pete Buttigieg is gay. That's number one. And number two, read the Bible? God, I can't stand people like that.
Most Democratic voters, are accepting or tolerant of the gay lifestyle. So it is a bit of a surprise to hear that. Now, she did have Amy Klobuchar sticker on in addition to a Pete Buttigieg sticker on. So maybe her first choice was Amy, and then she ended up voting for Pete. And I don't know how these caucuses work, but it is surprising.
If I ever see this woman, I'm going to tell her that Amy Klobuchar has had lesbian experiences. I will do that. I will do that if I ever see this woman, which I probably won't. But if I do, if I recognize her, hey, you voted for Amy Klobuchar? You know she's a lesbian, right? I will do that.
You know she eats her salad with a comb, right?
She does do that. That's definitely true.
Well, she hazes her staff.
That's not false.
That was hazing.
That was absolutely hazing.
All right, let's continue with this very ignorant woman.
Right? Just like you and me. And should it really matter? That's what.
Well, he better read the Bible.
He does, and he says that God doesn't choose a political party. Because
why does it say in the Bible that a man should marry a woman then?
Well, I totally respect your viewpoint on this. I so totally do. But I think that we were not around.
How come this has never been brought out before?
Yeah, how come this has never been brought out before? Do you know how many times Pete Buttigieg has been asked about being gay? You dumb, stupid woman. Do you know how many times he's talked about this? Do you know how many times he's talked about how he became mayor in Mike Pence country in Indiana? Have you seen one of the debates, you dumb woman? You shouldn't be allowed to vote.
I believe he's been seen with his husband on occasion, too.
Can you imagine being married to her? My Bible says, don't marry a woman like this. That's what my Bible says. Don't marry a stupid woman like this. Imagine her. What is she, quoting the Bible every 5 minutes?
Well, I think she gets up every morning and she has her coffee. And on the right, she has the Bible, and on the left, she has the Constitution.
To the words of Jason Stein, she sounds like a Bible thumper. She really does.
And that is, by the way, Nikki Van Den Heever, caucus precinct captain for Pete Buttigieg, trying to talk her down. And I think doing a pretty nice job of keeping her cool.
Listen, the woman who's talking to her sounds fairly intelligent, fairly
She's
informed.
saying, look, I believe in the Bible, too. I'm a Christian woman myself, she said. But look inside your heart.
Yeah, see, I wouldn't have that type of patience with a woman like that. I would say, a woman or man, I would just say, my Bible says you're a moron and you shouldn't be allowed to vote.
Well, that's why you're not in politics.
Well, no. I mean, I would just be very, very blunt. This woman sounds like she's on the short bus.
You'd be like Biden.
She sounds
You'd be poking
extremely
people in the
dumb.
chest and yelling at them.
That's true. Biden does do that. No, but really, seriously.
Don't
All
vote
right,
for me,
all
buddy.
right, let's continue with the audio. Go ahead.
Never been brought out before.
It's common knowledge.
I never heard it.
I never heard it.
We can talk to someone if you need to talk to them about this. I don't know the rules on this or not, but I guess what I would like you to just dig deep inside and think, like, should it matter if it's a woman or if it's a man or if they're heterosexual or homosexual if you believe in what they say? That's my question.
It all just went right down the toilet, is where it all just went.
It all just went down the toilet.
And that you have a total right to your opinion, and I am not trying to tell you to think otherwise, but we'll ask what they want us to do. But I just ask you to look inside your heart because you sound like a Christian woman to me. And
no, she's
I'm
a
a
dumb
Christian
woman.
And my God
Well, then you know
wants
what
me
the
to love
Bible
everybody. I do, yep. I do.
So you must not believe it then if you think it's okay for somebody to be married to a same-sex person.
All right, first of all, listening to this woman makes me want to be a homosexual. Let me just start there, number one. Number two, the fact that she didn't know that Pete Buttigieg was gay leads me to believe she's probably never heard him in an interview before. She's probably never seen one of the debates before. That's number two. And number three, this is why I always tell people, and I do feel this way, you don't have to be intelligent to vote, but you need to have some sort of IQ test. You have to at least have a GED. You have to at least be able to put a couple sentences together to vote.
You know, and that brings up a good question I was asking myself, in between break. Can the mentally handicapped legally vote?
Sure.
Yeah.
They can?
Yeah. As far as I know.
I mean, she sounds like her IQ is pushing maybe 45.
Well, listen.
Possibly 50.
If Bernie Sanders wants to say that felons should be allowed to vote behind bars, which, by the way, I do not agree with, I think we need to start limiting, and I know the Democrats would never do something like this because they want everybody to vote. I'm telling you right now, it has nothing to do with race. This has nothing to do with gender. This has everything to do with someone who is semi-intelligent that at least follows the news. You should have to fill out some sort of questionnaire, and number one should be, what sex is Pete Buttigieg? And that woman would have said straight, and she shouldn't be allowed to vote, period. If you don't know that Pete Buttigieg is gay, you should not be allowed to vote, period. Do you agree? If you're that dumb or ill-informed or both, she sounds stupid, by the way. It's one thing to be ill-informed. It's another thing to be stupid. My Bible says, shut up. You sound like a dumb version of Laura Ingraham. Shut up. You stupid, stupid woman. Is this the type of people that should be voting in society? Really? This is the type of person that I want to vote?
There'd be a lot of people purged off the rolls if you started eliminating dumb people, Brian.
Well, yeah, you wouldn't be our producer anymore. Right. You're right. I agree. No, I didn't mean that. Well, partially. I didn't mean that. No, but seriously, the first time I'm hearing this audio, and I am flabbergasted because you know there are a lot of idiots out there that vote. We know that there are a lot of dumb people out there that vote. But this is a whole new level of stupidity.
Well, it's stupidity, but it's also obviously it's homophobic. You know, I mean, she wants to literally get this card back. She wants to take her vote back. And the woman, the precinct captain says, but you already signed it.
Right.
I mean, what?
Right.
You know, I'm sorry.
Why shouldn't she go vote for Mike Pence?
Right.
The homophobe.
Get it right next time.
Yeah. Go vote for Mike Pence, the liar homophobe who probably commits more sins in his own life than anybody who wrote the Bible. Go vote for Mike Pence.
And there's actually quite a few homosexuals that live in the state of Iowa, so I'm surprised that she hasn't been subjected to that
Let me tell you
herself.
something. This was on TMZ. This woman is going to be recognized now in Iowa, rightfully so, for being a nitwit. Good. Good.
One of the arguments against having the Iowa, this is not my argument, but some, mostly on the left, are upset with the Iowa caucus as being so prominent in the nominating process, is that it's not representative of America, in terms of race and whatnot. There's a lot of Christian white people in Iowa, like this woman. And some people are saying, well, those people shouldn't have a disproportionate say in who the presidential nominee is. Of course, there are no results in Iowa right now at the moment anyway, so I guess it really doesn't matter. But
by the way,
generally speaking,
Who do you think wins?
Who thinks wins Iowa?
Yeah.
I think Bernie Sanders was coasting.
Yeah.
He's the big loser in all this, and some of the other ones come out okay.
By the way, how dumb this woman is in thinking that Pete Buttigieg is straight. That's sort of like saying, you know, Donald Trump has never cheated on anybody before, that he's a great husband. He's never. I mean, to me, it's the same line.
I appreciate how you just snuck that in there.
We got to take a break, but when we come back,
News to me.
The news that came out yesterday, Rush Limbaugh announcing that he has lung cancer. I am going to give you the reasons why I won't be shedding one tear for this bastard. Not one. Not one. I don't feel bad for this guy at all. This scumbag, this racist. And I have the audio to prove why you should not be praying for somebody who is a racist piece of garbage. That is Rush Limbaugh. We have the audio to prove it coming up next. You are listening to the Vegas Take right here on the all-new 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDAWN.
The faulty app being blamed for the inability to post results from the Iowa Democratic presidential caucuses wasn't ready in time for pre-vote testing. Correspondent Jeff Zeleny is in Des Moines.
It's kind of a complicated process, as we saw play out yesterday evening, and I'm told this app was not included because the app wasn't ready. It was always supposed to be, the fastest way to get results, with the backup plan of being a phone call system. But if the app wasn't ready, it's certainly curious.
Party officials say they hope to post at least some of the results sometime by 4 p.m. Central Time today. President Trump will deliver the State of the Union this evening, while the Senate will not vote whether to acquit or convict him on 2 articles of impeachment until tomorrow. European Commission is preparing to present a new strategy to fight cancer, which it says will grow by 40% if it is unchecked from its current growth rate. On Wall Street, the Dow is up about 470. I'm Mike Moss.
It's time to check the roads.
From the Lerner and Rowe Traffic Studio.
This report sponsored by CVS. Watch for slowing for the accident I-15 northbound at Sahara off-ramp and an accident on the 215 Southern Beltway eastbound at the airport connector. Vehicles remain off to the right. On the surface streets, a crash Buffalo at Lone Mountain. Police and fire on scene for injuries. Another injury crash active on Cheyenne Avenue at Lamb Boulevard. And a hit-and-run accident investigation continues eastern at Washington. Stop by CVS today for a free prescription savings review. Visit cvs.com/RX savings for details and treat yourself well at CVS. I'm John Michaels from the KDON Traffic Center.
Calling all casino industry workers. Are you talented and hardworking? Tuscany Suites and Casino wants you to join them for their pool hiring and property-wide job fair. Thursday, February 6th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. They will be interviewing and hiring right on the spot. Entry-level and friendly faces are strongly encouraged to attend. For more info, visit TuscanyLV.com. Tuscany Suites and Casino, located just 2 blocks east from the Strip at 255 East Flamingo, where parking is always free.
Attention all authors. Page Publishing is looking for authors. Have you written a book and want to get it published? Page Publishing will get your book into bookstores and for sale online at Amazon, Apple iTunes, and other outlets. They handle all aspects of the publishing process for you: printing, cover art, publicity, copyright, and editing. Call 800-501-3689 now for your free author submission kit. That's 800-501-3689 for your free author submission kit. Again, 800-501-3689.
Mark Levin, weekdays 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Now back to the Vegas Take on 101.5 FM, 720 AM. KDON.
All right, welcome back. It is the Vegas Take, Sharp and Shapiro. So glad you could join us on a Tuesday. Certainly a lot to get to. And the big news that came out yesterday, there was a lot of big news yesterday, but certainly when you have one of the biggest talk show hosts in the history of radio go on the air and say he has lung cancer, and it's pretty bad, then it makes news, and it should be. Make no mistake about it. I've never been a Rush Limbaugh fan, but I think of two people in the radio business when I think of the two pioneers of talk radio. Number one, I think of Howard Stern, because I think he transcended radio. I really do. I always have felt that way. And then there's Rush Limbaugh. When you look at all the political talk show hosts that are out there, he certainly paved the way for many others. And I would never take that away from him. He is a monster as far as ratings and listeners, and he's been around a very long time. With that being said, I think he's a racist piece of you-know-what. He's a scumbag. So he comes out yesterday that he has cancer, and I would never wish cancer upon anyone. Let me be very
and Brian, not just cancer, advanced lung cancer. That means that cancer that is metastasized.
Doesn't change my opinion. I would never wish cancer, any type of cancer, upon anyone. And I don't celebrate the fact that anyone is diagnosed with cancer. Now, with that being said, I am not going to shed one tear. You know, the Laura Ingrams of the world. Laura Ingram goes on social media yesterday. The evil racist witch goes on social media, and she says she's going to be praying for Rush Limbaugh. Funny, people like Laura Ingram, they didn't mention Kobe Bryant. She didn't mention Kobe Bryant on her show. She didn't say she was praying for the Bryant family. I wonder why that is. Shut up and dribble, the racist witch, Laura Ingram. I'm sorry, I am not going to be praying for Rush Limbaugh. I don't feel any sorrow at all, not 1 ounce of my body for Rush Limbaugh. Here's why. The man has not had empathy for others. So why should we have empathy for him? Example, I'll give you several examples, and we'll discuss it. Back in the day, when Michael J. Fox announced he had Parkinson's, this was Rush Limbaugh's response to it on the air.
In this commercial, he is exaggerating the effects of the disease. He is moving all around and shaking, and it's purely an act. This is the only time I have ever seen Michael J. Fox portray any of the symptoms of the disease he had. He can control himself enough to stay in the frame of the picture, and he can control himself enough to keep his eyes right on the lens, the teleprompter. But his head and shoulders are moving all over the place. So this is really shameless, folks. This is really shameless of Michael J. Fox. Either he didn't take his medication or he's acting.
No, you're shameless, Rush Limbaugh. What son of a bitch would do that? Okay? Rush Limbaugh, that is like me saying you are exaggerating cancer. That is like me saying you're making up and exaggerating cancer.
If you actually watched the video,
he makes motions.
I mean, for like 5 or 6 seconds, he is making those type of motions.
Right, because he's a piece of garbage. You agree with me? Only a piece of garbage would do something like that, right?
I wouldn't say he's a piece of garbage, but
okay.
I don't agree with what he did in
all
those
right, well,
circumstances.
let's move on here. Robin Williams. a man who did so much for charity, a gifted actor, a gifted comedian, a good human being. He lived his life the right
happened
way.
to be very, very depressed,
And
secretly depressed.
And not his fault.
Privately depressed.
It's a disease. So this is what Rush Limbaugh, the racist fat buffoon, said on his show in regards to Robin Williams days after Robin Williams committed suicide. Listen to this.
You had to attach not a philosophy, but an attitude to a leftist worldview. It's one of pessimism and darkness, sadness. They're never happy, are they? They're always angry about something. No matter what they get, they're always angry. Made everybody else laugh, but was miserable inside. I mean, it fits a certain picture or a certain image that the left has.
He's talking about politics in the left when people are sad and mourning the loss of Robin Williams, which couldn't be more ridiculous. Okay, remember when Rush Limbaugh was on ESPN talking football? Do we remember that? And do you remember when he got fired for his racist remarks? Listen to this. This is Rush Limbaugh on Donovan McNabb.
In the NFL, I think the media has been very desirous that a black quarterback do well. We're interested in black coaches and black quarterbacks doing well. I think there was a little hope invested in McNabb, and he got a lot of credit for the performance of this team that he really didn't deserve. The defense carried this team.
Just ridiculous. He's playing the race card, talking about Donovan McNabb. Only a racist would do something like that. Remember when he mocked Chinese President Hu after the press conference? Have a listen to this.
Nobody was translating. But that's as close I can get.
Yeah, that's as close as you can get, because that's a very nice, mature thing to do, to mock somebody based on where they are from. That's a page from the Donald Trump playbook.
Well,
so
it's the lowest hanging fruit. It's a sign of someone who isn't overly intelligent. And Rush actually is a pretty smart guy, so I'm surprised that he would do something.
I don't think Rush is a dumb guy.
He's definitely not. He actually came from a family of very, very prominent attorneys, and he chose to go the radio route. And for 37 years, he's had a very successful radio show. In fact, the guy makes $92 million a year, according to his last contract.
Which doesn't mean he's not a scumbag or a racist. Now, what did we just play for you, ladies and gentlemen? We just played Rush Limbaugh mocking Jay Fox for having Parkinson's. He just mocked somebody for having Parkinson's disease, let alone a man who is one of the most loved actors of my generation in Michael J. Fox. We just played Rush Limbaugh days after Robin Williams committed suicide, talking about how he might have committed suicide because he's a liberal. We just played him going after Donovan McNabb because Donovan McNabb is an African American. And we just played him mocking the Chinese president and his accent. Make no mistake about it, folks. Rush Limbaugh is a slime ball. He's a racist. He is a scumbag. And he sold this stupid little Rush Limbaugh pins and his mugs to try to make money because he's a used car salesman scumbag who's a racist. That's RushLimbaugh.
He's also an icon in radio.
I don't care about that. We're not talking about that.
I
already mentioned it.
I'm saying he's revolutionized radio.
So what?
Before Rush, there wasn't a show that was specific to one political spectrum. Rush is all right all the time. Now you've had other shows fall in those footsteps.
I understand that.
And actually, Rush, we're kind of the anti-Rush because our show, we have a lot of guests. He doesn't have a lot of guests. He kind of entertains the guests by himself for 3 hours. But our show gives opinions from both sides. And
I understand
Rush Limbaugh doesn't really offer that. But you still have to appreciate what the type of career he's had. And Brian, advanced lung cancer. He says he's going to try to be back. I wouldn't be shocked.
I don't care
if they tell him. If
care.
His doctors tell him that being on air is actually making your lung cancer worse. And if that happens, then Rush Limbaugh is done.
And I don't care. And here's why I don't care. By the way, the first minute of this segment, I said he was a pioneer. I said the top two people in radio who paved the way, in my personal opinion, are Howard Stern and Rush Limbaugh. I don't care about his cancer. I wouldn't wish it upon him. That doesn't mean I wanted this to happen, but it also doesn't mean that I have to feel sad for him. What do you guys think out there? Do you think we should all feel sad for Rush Limbaugh, a man who has had no empathy in his life, who's gone after people with diseases like Parkinson's, who has said racist things on the air, which is why he was fired from ESPN, who's mocked other people's accents, a racist scumbag? Should we feel sorry for somebody like Rush Limbaugh? And by the way, the same people, the right-wing, some of them, not all of them, the right-wing conservative hosts like Laura Ingraham are putting up their prayers for Rush Limbaugh. Prayers for Rush Limbaugh Funny, I didn't hear Laura Ingraham talk about Kobe Bryant at all. Didn't even mention his name. But all of a sudden, Rush Limbaugh announces he's got advanced lung cancer, and we want to see the prayers. Sorry, I am not going to pray for Rush Limbaugh. I am not going to shed one tear for Rush Limbaugh, and I am not going to miss Rush Limbaugh, period. That's how I feel, and I just gave you the reasons why. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Give us a call. The phone lines are open, 702-257-5396. Again, that number to call if you want to be a part of the conversation. We'll hear you, 257-5396. Let's start off with Richard. Richard, you're first up in the Vegas take.
Hey, what's up, Richard?
Hey, I've got a lot of respect for you, but you could not be more wrong about Rush Limbaugh.
I just played the audio.
He and Howard Stern broke the ground that you're standing on.
What did I just say to start this segment? You're reiterating what I just said. Were you not listening when the segment started? I said when the segment started.
I was listening, but you need to have some respect for people other than yourself.
What did I just say? By the way,
you're fearless about giving your opinion.
Excuse me. Here's where we disagree, Richard. I just played you audio clips of a man who mocked somebody with Parkinson's. I just played you audio clip. Excuse me. I have never gone after anybody with Parkinson's. There's a difference between not being politically correct and being racist and being absolutely wrong and not having empathy for others. I have never gone after somebody with a disease. I have never gone after somebody because of that disease. I have never gone after. Excuse me, I'm not done yet. Excuse me, Mr. Dick, I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet.
Using humor, not
oh, that's funny? So in your opinion, it's, excuse me, so you think it's funny to go after somebody with Parkinson's? What kind of fool are you?
Not.
He's not? Okay, let's play that audio again. Pod Richard down. Pod Richard down. We're going to play the audio for Mr. Dick on the phone right now because he is a dick. Michael J. Fox. He's going after Michael J. Fox having Parkinson's. Have a listen to this again, Richard.
In this commercial, he is exaggerating the effects of the disease. He is moving all around and shaking, and it's purely an act. This is the only time I have ever seen Michael J. Fox portray any of the symptoms of the disease he had. He can control himself enough to stay in the frame of the picture, and he can control himself enough to keep his eyes right on the lens, the teleprompter. But his head and shoulders are moving all over the place. So this is really shameless, folks. This is really shameless of Michael J. Fox. Either he didn't take his medication or he's acting.
Please tell me, Richard, as I pod you back up, what is funny about that?
It's commenting. It's honest.
No. You said it was funny. Tell me what's funny about what he just said.
I didn't say that was
you
funny.
Just
Richard, if you listen to it, I've listened to it twice. He's literally basically saying that Michael J. Fox is faking it. He's saying that he's faking it for attention and that it's shameless. And I mean, Richard, that's disgusting. You can't. I mean, you can't. But you can't. That's fine. But you can't deny that that's what he's doing, and that's disgusting.
Yeah. Anything to say to that, Richard?
Anyone can sound disgusting.
You know what? Okay, well, listen to this context, Richard. You're a moron. Get off our show. You're a moron.
Yeah, good call, Richard.
702-257-5396 is the number. Call. Let's go to Jeanette. Jeanette, you're next on the Vegas take.
What's up, Jeanette?
Yeah, you know what? You really are out of line. You need to really watch what you're saying.
No, I'm not going to watch what I'm saying just because you disagree with me. What do you think about that? No, I'm not. No, I'm not, Jeanette. No, I'm not.
No, you're such a cockroach because you.
Oh, I'm a cockroach? No, those are the things that are in your apartment right now, Jeanette. No, Jeanette, you have cockroaches underneath your bed. No, Jeanette, you have. No, you listen to me. You listen to me. You listen to me. Oh my God. Oh my God. Calm down, Jeanette. Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath, Jeanette. Take a deep breath.
No.
Pick up those cockroaches.
And it offends me because you offend.
Okay, so let me ask you a question, Jeanette. Let me ask you. Okay, Jeanette, be quiet. Okay, Jeanette. Jeanette. Okay, pot her down. Pot her down. Pot her down. It's not her show. It's ours. Jeanette, I was going to ask you a question. You seem so offended because I say I'm not going to be shedding a tear for Rush Limbaugh, and I eloquently stated my opinions. He goes after people with Parkinson's and medical diseases. He goes after African Americans. He goes after people based on their accents. That's why I don't feel sorry for him. Now, you think I'm out of line for saying that. So let me ask you a question. Do you think Rush Limbaugh was out of line for going after Michael J. Fox for having Parkinson's? Jeanette, do you think he was out of line?
Big mistake.
What was a big? So you admit Rush made a big mistake?
No, you made a big mistake.
I just asked you a question. Answer the question. Do you think Rush Limbaugh made a big mistake by going after Michael J. Fox? Yes or no? So you're not going to answer the question. Okay, well, you're a witch. You're a witch. Get off our show. You're disgusting.
Hey, this is actually a very, very interesting
702.
segment. If you want to watch us live, go to our YouTube page. We are live streaming everything.
702-257-5396. Notice how she wouldn't answer the question. So I'm a cockroach because I don't feel sorry for people that go after others that have Parkinson's that don't have empathy. But notice how she wouldn't answer the question.
I think the callers are implying that you're taking a couple of things, whether they're out of context
not a couple
or not,
things.
and you're applying them to make a decision, an all-encompassing decision, and label Rush Limbaugh as something that they don't think that he is. And I respect what he's done in his career, but based on what those last 4 audio segments that were played, that's disgusting.
Well, I want to listen. I want to read a few other things that Rush Limbaugh has said. He said, "Have you ever noticed how all composite pictures of wanted criminals resemble Jesse Jackson?" He also said, "When a gay person turns his back on you, it is anything but an insult. It's an invitation." Those are the words of Rush Limbaugh. He also said, "I think it's time to get rid of this whole National Basketball Association. Call it the TBA, the Thug Basketball Association, and stop calling them teams, call them gangs." That are the words of a racist. He also said, let me put it to you this way. The NFL all too often looks like a game between the Bloods and the Crips without any weapons. There, I said it. He is a racist. Make no mistake about it. Make no mistake about it. 702-257-5396 is the number to call. Let's go to Daniel. Daniel, you're next on the Vegas Take.
What's up, Daniel?
I think we lost Daniel. No, I think we're on the wrong line there. Daniel, hang on for us. We'll get to you in a second. 702-257-5396 is the number to call. Daniel, are you there? I think we lost Daniel. 257-5396, the number to call. Let's go to Jim. Jim, you're next on the Vegas Take.
Hey, Jim.
Yeah, Mr. Shapiro, I can't believe the way you act on a station, on a public station. You're embarrassing.
What have I said that's embarrassing?
Take you off the air.
What have I said that's embarrassing?
Because somebody's going to come down.
What have I said that's embarrassing?
They're going to kick your butt.
Well, not you, buddy.
You're the moron. You call everybody else a
What
moron.
have I said that's embarrassing? Jim, Jim, God loves me, and God loves me, and He's going to punish you. So answer my question. What have I said specifically that's embarrassing? You're a real tough guy, Jim. Yeah, because God really wants people to commit physical harm to others, Jim. You sound like a very religious person. 702.
Hey, Jim, really good call.
702-257-5396 is the number to call. I'm going to be very clear on this, and I'm going to say it again. I am not going to shed one tear for Rush Limbaugh. I don't feel bad for Rush Limbaugh, and I never will. Now, with that being said, I said to start the segment, I don't wish cancer upon anyone. I didn't wish Rush Limbaugh got cancer. I didn't wish the death of Rush Limbaugh, and I never would do that because I don't talk about that way about anybody. I'm simply stating, and it's a very fair opinion, that somebody that says racist things on a regular basis, I've just named you a few of them, somebody that goes after Michael J. Fox, with his Parkinson's, has no empathy for others. So it's a very fair opinion when someone says, why should you feel empathy for somebody whose entire career has not felt empathy for others? Explain that. Really, I'd love to hear. You can say, if you're a huge Rush Limbaugh fan, you could say, I can't believe you're an embarrassment. Well, tell me why. Defend those comments that Rush Limbaugh has made, and tell me why I should feel sorry for Rush Limbaugh, because I don't feel sorry for him one bit. And nothing is going to change my opinion. I mean, nothing. 702-257-5396. Go to Brian. Brian, you're next up on the Vegas Take.
Hey, what's up, Brian?
Well, let me start out by saying, Brian, you wouldn't amount to a pimple on Rush Limbaugh's derriere, first off.
So what? What does that have to do with anything?
And number two, he gives away more money to charity than you will make in your lifetime. You can donate. If I told you Jeffrey Epstein donated money to charity, would that make him a better person? Oh, that's a great comparison there. Well, that's what you do all the time, Brian.
Just because you donate money to charity doesn't make you a good person.
So far up your derriere.
Excuse me, Brian. Okay.
Buddy.
Thank you. That's very kind of you. Just because you
give.
You
know what, Brian?
Excuse me. No. You're going to wait now, and you're going to let me pot him down. I don't care how many years you've listened to Rush Limbaugh. The point I'm trying to make is you could donate $1 billion to charity. It doesn't excuse going after someone with a disease like Parkinson's. It doesn't excuse making racist comments on the air, which is why he was fired from ESPN. It doesn't excuse mocking the president of another country, their accent. And I have about 50 more things he said over the course of his career that are utterly disgusting. So if you want to call up and want to say, well, he's donated a bunch of money for charity and he's gotten ratings as a pioneer in radio, and you think that's going to change my opinion, let me tell you, Brian, you're wrong.
And that being said, you can take into consideration that he is an entertainer, he has a show, and doing those things does appease his listenership and his fan base.
Well, you guys know nothing about Rush. The people that are loyal to Rush have listened to him for years and years and years.
They know the humor. You guys can't separate.
So
that.
explain this to me then. Okay, so I just played you audio. But excuse me. So you condone
out of context.
So you're telling me you can. So tell me how I took. So tell me
what there's.
Excuse me,
Brian. When you say out of context, go back to the Michael J. Fox. We played this twice.
Okay.
How was that out of context?
Do you know why Michael J. Fox was in that spot? You know why? It was about a political race in Missouri for McClellan.
So what? So you condone what he said?
Of course, you don't see what happened before. Of course
so put it in. So you condone those statements?
You don't hear about the commercial he made for her.
So you condone those statements?
About what you're talking about.
How did I take it out of context?
That little clip, like you're saying, JD. Yeah, that looks terrible.
So how did I take it out of context?
I just told you how you did.
So he wasn't mocking Michael J. Fox.
So you're saying Michael J. Fox,
just like you guys are.
Right.
He does things like that. He makes gestures as he speaks.
I see. Okay.
Just like you do, Brian.
Right. So have I ever said anything like that about someone with a disease?
You say things about Mike Pence.
Be specific.
And other people
Mike
time.
Mike Pence doesn't have a disease.
Ingram, you know she's a racist.
Yeah, calling somebody. So hold on a second. Okay, you're a fool, Brian. No, Brian, you're a fool because you're defending it. You're a fool. Bye. You're the fool, Brian.
Good call, Brian.
Because I gave you an opportunity to tell us how we got it wrong and didn't put it in context. And you're a lover boy of Rush Limbaugh, and because of that, you're defending the horrible things he said. He also said Holocaust, 90 million Indians, only 4 million left. They all have casinos. What's to complain about? There's nothing funny about that statement. There's nothing funny at all about that statement. He also said, what does it say about the college co-ed Susan Fluke who goes before a congressional committee and essentially says that she must be paid to have sex? What does that make her? It makes her a slut, right? It makes her a prostitute. He also said, if any race of people should not have guilt about slavery, it's Caucasians. I've got plenty more for you, but, I must be just taking them out of context. Yeah, sure. 702-257-5396. Let's go to Charles. Charles, you're next on the Vegas Take. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, Charles?
Hey, how you doing today, man?
Good.
Doing great.
Good. Listen, hey, just one quick comment. I really think that these people who are calling in, the Rush Limbaugh fans or whatever, and that's all well and good. But the guy is just a total racist. He really is. Some of the things that have come out of his mouth just remind me of Donald Trump. It's okay to say one thing about a race and just have these innuendos, but he is just politically, some of the things I can understand. I agree with him, but when he starts talking about people's character and how people are, and especially different groups of people, man, it's crazy.
No, and there's definitely parallels with Donald Trump, but I think the things that Rush has said are more egregious than what Trump has said.
Hey, Charles, you know what some of these callers would say to you? They'd say, you're taking it out of context. It was just being funny. That's their excuse.
Exactly. You know what,
Charles? These are the same. Charles, these are the same idiots that defend Donald Trump on a regular basis when he says ridiculous things, right?
Absolutely. He can do no wrong because he's president. He can say and do whatever he wants. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
It's ridiculous.
It is. It's just crazy.
It's ridiculous. Charles, I appreciate the phone call. Thank you. I'm glad to see that there are some intelligent people and logical people out there. This isn't about whether you're a Republican or a Democrat. This shouldn't even be about whether you're a fan of Rush Limbaugh or not. It should be about this simple fact. The course of his career, he said a number of different things that shows he has a lack of empathy for others. And I am simply saying, and JD understands where I'm coming from, I don't have any empathy for him. And as I've said over and over again, I don't wish cancer upon anyone. I've lost people in my family from cancer. I didn't wish cancer upon Rush Limbaugh. I didn't wish death upon Rush Limbaugh. I never would. I'm simply saying, just because you don't wish it.
So do you think this is karmic? His current predicament?
I don't believe in that stuff.
Okay.
I don't believe in karma.
That would be over the top.
I don't believe in that stuff. All I'm simply saying is I don't feel bad for him. And the reason why I don't feel bad for him is because over the course of his career, he hasn't felt bad for many others, including Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
And he's had a pretty good life. Again, 37 years in the industry. He's making $90 million a year. He's in, I think, 200 or 600 markets across the United States. He's had an outstanding career.
Yeah.
He's an icon just like Don Imus. And I wish Rush Limbaugh well, but he has said some pretty over-the-top things over the course of his career, and we just illustrated that.
702-257-5396 is the number to call. Let's go to Josh. Josh, you're next up on the Vegas Take.
What's up, Josh?
Hey, good morning, guys. I just wanted to let you know
That's what's wrong with the world today, United States of America. Nobody's held accountable for what they say and what they do.
Right.
And everything you said, you hit the nail on the head. The only thing I say is, it's still a life. It's still sad. And wouldn't it be something to show other people's characters that he's put down, drugged through the mud,
Right.
said things that were disrespectful, and they pray for him and his soul?
Sure.
That would really,
No,
I
that's a
think
valid.
maybe that would really
That's
open his eyes.
that's a valid point, Josh. And let me say this: I do feel bad for his family. I feel bad for his friends. As far as I know, they did nothing wrong. But here's my problem, Josh, and I think you'll agree with me on this one. Somebody like Laura Ingraham, she goes on social media yesterday, talks about Rush Limbaugh on her show, how much she's going to be praying for him. I didn't hear one word come out of her mouth about the Kobe Bryant family. No prayers for Kobe Bryant. Now, why is that, Josh?
And that's troubling, considering that she went after Nipsey Hussle and LeBron James and she made the shut up and dribble comment. It really is troubling that she's okay with going after someone of one particular race.
Right.
But when Kobe Bryant, who was a champion really of all races,
right,
and his daughter died tragically in a plane crash, she doesn't say a word.
Josh, let me ask you this. Why do you think that is?
Because their actions show that they are racist.
Yeah.
What they do shows us as the public that they're racist, and you're calling it out on them, and their listeners don't like that.
You could, I mean, whether it's racism,
nail on the head,
it's
Josh.
certainly favoritism. I mean, a large degree of favoritism.
Yeah,
very much so.
God forbid.
Those of us from Los Angeles cried at state crime for Kobe and all those families. It's devastating.
Yeah, absolutely. Josh, absolutely devastating. And here's a big difference. See, Kobe Bryant actually had empathy for other people. Kobe Bryant actually helped other people. And I'm not just talking about donating money to charity. That's not selling a mug and then donating, a couple $1 million to charity. I'm talking about taking time out of your day every day to help others. Rush Limbaugh didn't do that.
That's right.
Yeah.
And Kobe was also on his way into empowering women in basketball.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about that, Josh. Coming up in hour number 3, we have a woman coming in studio who actually is going to talk to us about how Kobe Bryant paved the way for a women's adult basketball league in Las Vegas. She's going to be joining us in hour number 3.
Rush was very philanthropic. He donated a lot of money.
I didn't say he wasn't. Where did I say he wasn't?
You said he didn't go out of his way to help people.
Well, donating money
that is going out
and
of your way.
doing what Kobe Bryant did are two completely different
things. Still
things.
going out of your way to help people.
I didn't say he didn't go out of his way. I'm saying Kobe Bryant and Rush Limbaugh, two completely different things. We'll take more of your calls on the other side of the break. 702-257-5396. This is the Vegas Take.
If you own a business and want to bring attention to it, there's no better way than wrapping your vehicles. While you or your employees are driving around Vegas, let your vehicles scream about your products or services. Share with everyone on the road why you're so special. With a single vehicle wrap getting anywhere from 30,000 to 80,000 views per day, according to the Outdoor Advertising Association of America. Turn your vehicles into an amazing, spectacular moving billboard. Let Intershine Graphics show you how with the best wrap in the business. Go to IntershineGraphics.com. IntershineGraphics.com.
Attention all authors. Page Publishing is looking for authors. Have you written a book and want to get it published? Page Publishing will get your book into bookstores and for sale online at Amazon, Apple iTunes, and other outlets. They handle all aspects of the publishing process for you: printing, cover art, publicity, copyright, and editing. Call 800-501-3689 now for your free author submission kit. That's 800-501-3689 for your free author submission kit. Again, 800-501-3689.
Kilmeade, Hannity, Levin. 1015 FM, 720 AM, KDWN, Las Vegas. A Beasley Media Group station.
Iowa hangover. State of the Union. I'm Mike Moss.
We had a bumpy start.
Yeah, candidate Elizabeth Warren is in New Hampshire today and telling supporters she thinks she did well in the still unreported results from the Iowa caucuses.
The three of us will be dividing up most of the delegates coming out of Iowa. I'm feeling good.
The Iowa Democratic Party is feeling anything but good today. Correspondent Jeff Zeleny in Des Moines reports on what the candidates are being told.
The chairman of the Iowa Democratic Party, Troy Price, telling presidential campaigns and some other Iowa Democratic officials on the call that they plan to release the results by 4 p.m. Central Time here in Des Moines, 5 p.m. on the East. But we should note this. He told them that they plan to release the majority of the results, which indicates there is still some work being done to try and reach some of those precinct leaders and captains here.
When President Trump delivers the State of the Union tonight, it will be the night before the Senate votes on whether to acquit or convict him on 2 articles of impeachment. White House correspondent Bob Costantini with a preview.
Mark Short, Vice President Pence's chief of staff and advisor to the president, calling the theme of tonight's State of the Union the Great American Comeback.
He's going to talk about 7 million new jobs created. He's going to talk about what we've done while Democrats have been focused on impeachment, signing significant new trade deals with China, trade deals with Mexico and Canada, as well as taking out the world's 2 most dangerous terrorists in Soleimani and Baghdadi.
Is he going to mention the word impeachment, though?
I'm not going to say specifically what word he's going to say or not.
Republicans are urging the president to say little about the impeachment trial about to end. Bob Costantini, the White House.
Just outside of Oklahoma City, officials in Moore say a second high school cross-country runner has died after being struck by a hit-and-run pickup yesterday. The suspect, Leroy Townsend's son, was killed in a car accident Sunday close to where the runners were hit. On Wall Street, stocks surging today, the Dow up 487. I'm Mike Moss.
It's time to check the roads.
From the Lerner and Rowe Traffic Studio.
This report sponsored by Liberty Mutual Insurance, where you only pay for what you need. Watch for slowing for a crash reported on the Southern Beltway eastbound at the airport connector. Vehicles off to the right. And an accident reported on the 95 southbound approaching the Northern Beltway at the 215. Watch for slowing in the area. And no delays to report if you're on I-15 north and southbound. A nice recovery from this morning's rush hour. An easy drive now between the Spaghetti Bowl and the Southern Beltway. No delays to report. 95 east side or west side inbound. Switch to Liberty Mutual Insurance today, and you can customize your coverage so you only pay for what you need. Liberty Mutual Insurance. I'm John Michaels from the KDON Traffic Center.
It's open enrollment season, and MediShare is the Christian healthcare sharing ministry that saves most families about $500 a month. Google MediShare and see if it's a fit for you. MediShare, healthcare you can believe in.
It's your friend Sean Hannity, and with the election on the horizon, well, you've got a lot of important choices ahead of you. But let's not talk politics for just a second and focus on your home. If you're about to sell your home, before you throw your money away, listen very carefully. Contact the agent I personally trust. Rick and Terry Brinkus of Keller Williams Realty, the marketplace, and Rick and Terry have averaged over 250 sales per year. Now get this, for 25 straight years. Now they understand the headache and the stress that comes with selling a home, and they know how to eliminate the drama. In fact, they can help set a price and a deadline you agree to. Now, if that deadline passes, they will buy your home. Real estate mogul and Shark Tank star Barbara Corcoran only recommends Rick and Terry Brinkus in Las Vegas. And if I needed to sell a home in Southern Nevada, well, no question, I'd call the Brinkus team. Call the Brinkus team today at 702-456-5959, online at thebrinkusteam.com.
License number BS 16186.
SportsX Radio Nation, what's up? It's Ken Thompson, host of SportsX Radio, reminding you to catch me at my new time, 8 to 10 p.m. for all the local Vegas sports coverage, plus the national scene as well. That's SportsX Radio on the new 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDWN.
Do you have IRS tax problems? Do you owe thousands to the IRS and don't know your options? Did you know you can actually file bankruptcy on IRS debt? Hi, I'm attorney Taylor Randolph, and I have a master's degree in legal taxation, and I can help. Call 702-757-7777 today, and I will meet with you personally for a free consultation. We have removed millions of IRS debt, and we can help you too. No gimmicks, just real help. Call 702-757-7777 today.
Tina Trenner is back, and she's on 720 AM, 101.5 FM, KDWN, every Sunday at 12 p.m. She's sick of the nonsense and has something to say every Sunday at 12 p.m.
Mark Levin, weekdays 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Now back to the Vegas Take on 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDON. The opinions of the hosts on KDWN are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of this station, its management, or Beasley Media Group. Right now, the day's biggest news stories from a Vegas perspective. This is the Vegas Take with Sharp and Shapiro.
All right, welcome back. It is the Vegas Take, Sharp and Shapiro. So glad you could join us on a Tuesday. By the way, coming up in hour number 3, Frank Marino used to star in the show Divas. I actually watched that show 5 or 6 times. It was awesome. And now he's going to be MC of the show Legends in Concert. He's going to be joining us coming up in hour number 3. Also, hour number 3, a woman by the name of Jennifer Miller Gonzalez. She had personal interactions with Kobe Bryant. Is the reason why women are allowed to play in adult leagues, and the popularity of it is incredible. Kobe was a big part of that, so she's going to be sharing her story coming up in hour number 3. We mentioned the news that broke yesterday in regards to Rush Limbaugh. And I'll start this segment very similar to how I started the last segment, and that is this. I think of two people in the radio business that are pioneers. That would be Howard Stern and Rush Limbaugh. Rush Limbaugh, no question, he paved the way for, political talk radio. A monster as far as ratings and listeners. Same thing with Howard Stern. He paved the way for shock jock radio. And that's why they've been successful. That's why they've made enormous amounts of money. And I would never take that away from them. It's crystal clear. With that being said, just because you donate some money to charity, and just because you are a ratings getter, doesn't give you the right to make racist comments, doesn't give you the right to say hate speech, to go after people based on skin color. I mean, these are some horrendous things that Rush Limbaugh has said over the course of his career. For example, Rush once said, I think it's time to get rid of this whole National Basketball Association. Call it the TBA, the Thug Basketball Association, and stop calling them teams, call them gangs. That's racist. Commenting on the NFL, he said, let me put it to you this way. The NFL all too often looks like a game between the Bloods and the Crips without any weapons. There, I said it. That's racist. He also went on ESPN commenting on the skin color of Donovan McNabb. That's why he got fired from ESPN. He's made racist comments. We play the audio of him talking about Michael J. Fox, going after him. He went after Michael J. Fox. Michael J. Fox has had Parkinson's. And he said Michael J. Fox was acting in a commercial and exaggerating his movements in a commercial. Does that show empathy towards others? And my simple opinion is, and I've said this several times in the last hour, I don't wish cancer upon anybody. Anybody. I don't wish death upon anybody. Doesn't mean I have to feel sorry for Rush Limbaugh. It doesn't mean I have to feel empathy for somebody that has said horrible things about so many people for years. I think it's a pretty fair statement to make. In fact, I think it's a very fair statement to make. Taking your phone call, 702-257-5396. Again, that number is 257-5396 if you want to be a part of the conversation. Let's go to Lou. Lou, you are next up on the Vegas Take. What's going on?
Yeah, I agree with you with a lot of what you just said about Rush. Didn't he just sign a big contract? Maybe he can give some of that money to charity.
Well, that wouldn't be a bad idea. What do you think about what I said, Lou? We shouldn't. It doesn't mean you have to hope that somebody gets a horrible disease. I would never say that, or wish death. But it doesn't mean you have to feel empathy for somebody that hasn't felt empathy towards others, right?
Right, I agree with you. Like I said earlier, my wife passed from cancer.
I'm so
I would
sorry.
not wish that on anybody.
Of course not. Yes.
It's a horrible thing. But he has said some cold things. I mean, really cold-hearted man. Maybe he doesn't even think he's wrong when he's saying these.
Yeah, Lou, Lou. First of all, let me say I'm so sorry for the loss of your wife. And cancer has touched all of us, sadly.
Oh, yeah.
But so you're the perfect person to ask this question to then. And I'm sorry for what you've had to go through, but for somebody that has gone after, for example, people with Parkinson's like Michael J. Fox, for somebody that has made repeatedly racist remarks over the course of his career, that has showed a lack of empathy towards others. You lost your wife from cancer, sadly, but yet you're telling me you understand where I'm coming from.
Sure. I mean, this guy has said some things that, like I said, I don't think he thinks he's wrong in saying them. That's how twisted he was, you know?
Right.
Really.
Yeah. Well, listen.
Maybe he can make amends for that right now.
Well, I hope so, Lou. And you're the type of person that, his opinion I respect a lot more than many others. Heck, I mean, sadly, you lost your wife to cancer, and I'm glad you called in, Lou. I'm sorry for your loss, my friend, and I appreciate you calling in. Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate it, Lou. I want to play this audio for you again. Now, we can play a lot of audio, but this was Rush Limbaugh mocking the Chinese President Hu after a press conference. Have a listen to this.
Nobody was translating. But that's the close I can get.
Boy, I guess I didn't just, I guess I need the context of that. Yeah, I guess I just need the context of that. Boy, that's somebody I really feel sorry for. That's somebody I'm really going to feel empathy for. That is racist. Make no mistake about it. 702-257-5396 is the number to call. Let's go to Lance. Lance, you're next up on the Vegas Take. Uh-oh, we lost Lance. 257
Great call, Lance.
257-5396. Let's go to Brady. Brady, you're up next on the Vegas Take.
Hey, what's up, Brady?
Yeah, good morning, gentlemen. Brian, I think you've absolutely lost it. Your disrespect for Rush Limbaugh is off the top. And I want to say one thing.
Well, hold on. I'll let you hang on the line.
Can I finish, Brian?
Brady, I don't want to forget what you just said. I will let you finish, but I don't respect people who don't respect others. What part of that do you not understand?
You're telling me that you have more respect for Howard Stern than Rush Limbaugh? You're an idiot.
Here's why I have more respect for Howard
You're
Stern.
an idiot.
Excuse me. Here's why I have more respect for Howard Stern than Rush Limbaugh. You're entitled to your opinion. If you want to call me an idiot, that's fine, Brady. But here's why I respect Howard Stern more than Rush Limbaugh. Show me a bit of audio that attacks someone after committing suicide. That's what he did when it came to Robin. Hold on, let me finish. Let me finish. Excuse me, let me finish. Show me a bit of audio that shows Howard Stern going after somebody in spite because they killed themselves and made it political. Show me a piece of audio where Howard Stern goes after somebody with Parkinson's disease. Show me a piece of audio.
Howard Stern has made his career on
You can say that.
Are you an idiot or what?
You can say that every single second, but I want to hear the quote that Howard Stern said in regards to
I'm
Michael.
going to pull that out of my hat, Brian. I got it handy right
Well, you
here
know
in my
what?
hat.
If you don't have a quote, then your opinion is not valid. So get off the show. 702-257
Great call, Brad.
702-257-5396 is the number to call. We're talking about Rush Limbaugh. He announced yesterday that he has advanced lung cancer.
I actually prefer Howard Stern because I think he is a brilliant interviewer. I think he's quicker on his feet than Rush is, and I like how he isn't so biased in one direction.
Well, I agree
that's why I personally prefer Howard Stern to Rush Limbaugh.
Well, listen, Howard Stern has been, at one point, was very close to Donald Trump. Donald Trump has made plenty of appearances on the Howard Stern show. It was Hillary Clinton that never wanted to appear on the Stern show, and she just did a few months ago.
I think Howard Stern gets the absolute most out of any interview from probably anyone in the history of interviewing.
listen,
and Rush Limbaugh, he doesn't have a lot of guests.
Well, listen, they're two different shows.
He's more of a monologist. Exactly. I just prefer Howard Stern to Rush.
They're two completely different shows, so I'm not going to compare or contrast the two because they're very different.
Right.
I'm just talking about as human beings, okay? And you could say Rush Limbaugh has donated a gazillion dollars to charity. It doesn't change the fact of some of the things he said on the air. It just doesn't. And I've read off some of those things that he said. He said very racist things and misogynistic things. I've read off plenty of them, and we've played the audio of it. And then people want to defend him and say, well, it's fake news. You got to know the context of it. Really? Please tell me the context when he was going after the former Chinese president. Please tell me the context and tell me the reason why ESPN fired Rush Limbaugh. I'd love to hear that. I'd love to hear the context. That's why ESPN fired him, because he made racist, insensitive remarks. Okay? Me saying that I don't feel empathy for somebody like that is extremely reasonable to most people, unless you're a right-wing biased buffoon and you wear the Rush Limbaugh knee pads, then you're going to call me an idiot. Then you're going to call me names, and I am so out of line. But when it comes to Rush Limbaugh, you're quiet about it. You don't know the context of it, Brian. He was just trying to be funny. It's just like Donald Trump. It's the same stuff. You don't know the context of it. It's fake news.
It's not the same stuff. Donald Trump is the president of the United States. Rush Limbaugh is an entertainer. He has a radio show.
But what I'm trying to say is that when people make excuses.
Donald Trump is held to a higher standard than Rush Limbaugh is. But sometimes But sometimes Donald Trump mistakes the fact that he's the president, and he still thinks he's on The Apprentice.
Well, he should be. Or we're taking your phone call, 702-257-5396. The horrendous things that, listen, Don Imus lost his job for calling those women on that college basketball team nappy-headed hoes. It was a horrible thing to say. I would make the argument that Rush Limbaugh, 30 times over on his show has said worse things. But he makes so much money for the company. He makes so much money around the world. He didn't lose his job. And no, I'll say it again. I am not going to backtrack from my opinion. I stand by what I said, and I will continue to say it. While I don't wish cancer upon anybody, I certainly don't wish death upon anybody. I don't feel one bit sorry for Rush Limbaugh. I don't feel any empathy towards Rush Limbaugh. We just had a guy call into the show. God love him. He lost his wife from cancer, and he agreed with me. So what does that say to you people out there? What does that say? The guy just lost his wife to cancer, and he said, Brian, I agree with you. What does that tell you? It's okay to disagree with me. If you're a big Rush Limbaugh fan, fine. But don't you sit here and tell me that I'm so out of line and I'm an idiot. I should feel empathy for Rush Limbaugh. No, I don't feel one bit of empathy for a man. His entire career has said horrible things about minorities. He went after Michael J. Fox for having Parkinson's, and he claimed that he was acting with his gestures and movements. What type of human being says things like that? Why should we as a society feel empathy for somebody like that? Why? This has nothing to do with him being addicted to painkillers. This has nothing to do with his political affiliation. I don't care left, right, middle. I don't care where you are. It should never be okay to do and say the things that he did over the course of his career and show a lack of empathy towards others. And now all of a sudden we're supposed to feel empathy towards him? I say no way. 702-257-5396. Go to Carl. Carl, you're next up on the Vegas Take. What's going on?
Yeah, hey guys. Listen, I feel the same way. I'm sorry, Mr. Limbaugh, or anybody gets sick. That's not what I like. But he's cut from the same mold as the Sandy Hook denier. You know who that is?
Yeah, InfoWars. Yep.
Well, okay. He's cut from the same mold, the same type person, the same racist type attitude. And obviously, like you say, I don't want anybody to get sick, and I don't want to wish it on anybody. But you can't. But he's done. Both of those people have done so many ridiculously bad, horrible things. And I want to leave with this one thing. Have you been watching TV? You know how Mr. Trump puts down and derides anybody who doesn't respect the national anthem?
Yes, he does. Yeah, I saw that. Hold on. Yeah, you're talking. And by the way, Carl, let me bring up what you're talking about. And I appreciate the phone call. You're showing the Super Bowl. He's sitting at a Super Bowl party at a table, and he stands up with Melania as they're doing the national anthem, and he's doing like what an orchestra. He's kind of like orchestrating the national anthem as Melania has her hand over her chest, and he's just standing there, pointing at people and doing an orchestration of the national anthem. It was very bizarre. I also want to say Jay-Z and Beyonce sitting down during the national anthem was disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. On top of the fact that makes it even worse that Jay-Z is being paid by the NFL. It's ridiculous. 702-257-5396 is the number to call. Let's go to Rick. Rick, you're next up on the Vegas Take. What's going on?
Hi there. I'm stage 4 cancer survivor myself, and almost 5 years out. I'm also a libertarian, and I just see people on the right when Rush makes them comments. It's obviously horrible. But I also think what you're doing by cherry-picking this stuff is just the same thing. I mean, because I never see anyone on the left call out people like Sharpton or Jackson.
Okay, well, that's where you're wrong, Rick. First, Rick.
Let me just finish.
All right,
let me just finish, please.
I'll let you finish, but you're wrong. That's not factually accurate.
Cut everyone off.
Well, because you said something that's not true. I've talked about Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson. I can't stand both of them. I've talked about them before on the show. I think they're race baiters. I think they're bad people.
No, they're racist.
I agree.
No, they're racist.
I agree, Rick. I hope you're not talking about me.
But the entire leftist media in this country only points out white racism, and then on the right, they only point out, let's say, the left. Why can't we, as Americans, just say it's wrong, period?
Well, I agree with you. Are you saying that we do a leftist show? I'm just trying to understand why you're bringing...
Oh, yeah, I definitely think
okay. All right. So now let me respond to that. First of all, you assume that because I'm going after Rush Limbaugh for the things he said in his career, and you assume that I'm a lefty because I don't like Donald Trump. Well, sir, let me tell you something. You are 100% wrong. I voted for the left and I voted for the right. So you're wrong there. Number two, you mentioned Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton. JD knows this about me. I can't stand both of them. They're race baiters, and yes, I would call them racist. So now you're 0 for 2. Okay, so would you like to go 0 for 3, Rick?
We've discussed on multiple occasions how racism happens between all races. It's not just...
No, I don't say whatever I want. I'm speaking the facts.
Caucasian, African-American, African-American, and Caucasian.
Well, you're wrong.
Rick, any race...
You're also promoting hate yourself. And
Oh,
you're
really? I'm
guilty
promoting
of the
hate.
same
And
thing
how am I
that
promoting
you are
hate?
just- You're guilty of the same thing.
Be specific. How am I promoting hate? Be specific. How am I promoting hate? What have I said to promote hate?
man. It's
Don't
so
you give me a.
obvious.
You
Everything
just
you're
said I
saying
promote.
about Russ,
You just said I
everything
promote
you said
hate.
about him. It's the same thing.
I've bashed Colin Kaepernick on this show 5 minutes ago. I just bashed Jay-Z and Beyonce. Please show me where I'm in. Hold on. Please show me where I'm inconsistent. Please be specific where I can.
Let me give you another
Yeah,
example.
yeah. Give me. How about give me one that makes sense? How about that?
Of your duplicity.
Yeah,
It's
go
very
ahead.
simple.
I'm
I like
waiting.
that word. That's a very good word.
Okay, you guys on the left, and you are.
I'm not on the left, you idiot. Stop saying I'm on the left.
You should just accept it. You are.
Why don't you accept the fact that you're wrong? You're now 0 for 3. Would you like to go 0 for 4?
All right. Your love for this guy, Kobe Bryant. He friggin' raped that.
Okay, so you just showed your ignorance. He was not charged with rape. The charges were dropped. Do you realize what a moron you are? Excuse me. Show me the proof. You just called Kobe Bryant a rapist. They dropped the charges, so please explain why you're calling him a rapist. Do you know something I don't know? Yes, I did, and I followed the case. They dropped the charges. Excuse me. Don't you me?
Where he describes
Don't you?
exactly what he did to that girl.
They had sex. Something you should try sometime. They had sex.
That's your liberal talking.
Excuse me. He wasn't. Excuse me. So you're guilty until proven innocent. Is that what it is?
Well, isn't that what you guys on the left do to Trump?
Number one, once again, I'm not on the left, and number two, you just called. Excuse me. You just called Kobe Bryant a rapist. Do you realize how stupid you sound? Oh, okay. According to Rick, all right, bye-bye. I think the guy just proved what a moron he is. He just called Kobe Bryant a rapist. I'm not going to entertain anybody who says things like that on this show. And by the way, I've talked about Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson on the show a number of times. I have criticized them, so he was wrong there. He labeled me a leftist. He's wrong there. He was wrong on every single point he made. And why? Because
I'm guessing that 98% of listeners who just tune in for the first time would assume that you are very, very liberal.
Well, I don't care what people assume.
Well, but if you listen to the show for 3 to 6 months or for an extended period of time, you wouldn't think that. But just based on your everyday rhetoric,
it's not rhetoric.
People aren't out of line assuming that you're liberal, Brian.
So the guy called Kobe Bryant a rapist.
And that was ridiculous, obviously. But calling our show leftist is far from the truth. Now, just because I don't think Donald Trump is perfect, and because I'm calling Rush Limbaugh out or agreeing with some of the things that Brian is saying as far as what Rush Limbaugh has done that have been wrong over the course of his life, doesn't mean I'm a leftist either. Yeah. I'm very, very right-leaning.
By the way, find me a leftist that has bashed Colin Kaepernick consistently. Find me a leftist that has said negative things about Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi. Find me a leftist that, what I just did, went after Jay-Z and Beyonce for sitting down during the national anthem. Please, find me a leftist that talks like that. Find me a leftist that has gone after Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson. Find me a leftist that supported the police officer in the Ferguson shooting. Please, find me a leftist. They want to label you because, you might say things that don't put their lover boy, Donald Trump, or Rush Limbaugh in a positive light. Sorry, I'm not going to do that. And I'm not going to say everything that you want me to say that you believe in. These are my opinions, and I am fair on both sides, just like I don't have any empathy for Rush Limbaugh because of the things he said in his career. The same way goes on the other side of things. If Jussie Smollett, I wouldn't feel sorry for Jussie Smollett. I'd feel the same way about him. 702-257-5396 is the number to call. Let's go to Rick M. Rick M., you're next up on the Vegas Take.
Hey, what's up, Rick M?
Yeah, hey, Brian, you complain about what Trump says and he does this about people, but you do the same thing. You belittle people.
That's very true.
You slander.
Here's the difference, Rick. Rick, here's the difference, and this is a very important distinction. Donald Trump is the president of the United States. I am a radio. No, it's not all right. Please let me. Hold on, Rick. Hang on for a second here. Donald Trump is the leader of the free world. I do a local talk show in Las Vegas. Are you really going to compare me belittling people to Donald Trump? You think that's a fair analogy?
A lot of people hear you on the radio. I have to admit that.
So you think more people hear me on the radio than Donald Trump?
Well, Donald Trump isn't on the radio
You know,
every day.
if that's the case, Brian, you are definitely underpaid.
Rick, yeah, I agree with you there, JD. We finally agree.
JD, you're okay, JD.
Hey,
okay.
Hey, I appreciate that, Rick.
Okay,
That's very nice of you.
so give me an example, Rick. I'd love to hear it. Give me an example of me belittling somebody. Tell me why I belittled them. Please put it in.
I heard you belittle the Attorney General, who is
Which Attorney General?
The guy that's in now.
You're talking about Barr.
Yeah.
And
Barr.
what exactly did I say about Barr, sir?
Oh, you said something about he makes faces and he looks like this.
I've never said Barr makes faces. No, I've never said that. Yes, I did. Let me explain why, Rick. I'm glad you brought up. Sure, I'm glad you brought that up. So let me ask you a question, Rick. And in regards to Laura Ingraham, why I called her a racist, and this is my opinion. Okay, thank you. So Laura Ingraham went on social media yesterday and today. She talked about it on her show about Rush Limbaugh. She might be friends with him. I don't know. She said we all need to pray for Rush Limbaugh. In the last week and a half, she has not mentioned Kobe Bryant and that horrible situation once. She told LeBron James to shut up and dribble. Nipsey Hussle, a man who's done so much for his community, she decides to go after the lyrics of Nipsey Hussle just a week after Nipsey Hussle was murdered. Now that is why I believe, in my personal opinion, that Laura Ingraham is a racist.
And it would be out of line to assume that she was racist if she didn't go after Nipsey Hussle, and if she didn't go after LeBron James. But the fact that she did go after LeBron James and Nipsey Hussle and then just avoided the Kobe Bryant situation entirely, that to me is fuel to the fire for her potentially being a racist.
Right. So Rick, even if you disagree with me with what I just said, and that's fine if you do you think it's out of line and it's just completely ridiculous for me to have that opinion that Laura Ingraham might just be a racist? Do you think that's out of line?
I'm not saying she isn't.
So there, thank you. Have a nice day. Bye-bye, Rick. Have a nice day.
Hey,
he just criticized me for something, and then he agreed with me.
That was a very, very solid call, Rick. Solid call.
All right. Now, well, listen. Hey, I'm here to help people, man. That's what I'm here to do. I'm here to help people. Next up.
But the same logic that you applied where Trump is president and you're a radio host, that same logic applies to Rush Limbaugh as well. He's protected under that same logic.
Rush Limbaugh. First of all, have I ever said anything racist on this show?
Saying,
okay, but hold on. Have I ever said anything racist?
You can't hold Rush Limbaugh and Donald Trump to the same standard.
Belittling.
If you can't hold Brian Shapiro
JD,
and Donald Trump to the same standard.
Have I ever gone after somebody with Parkinson's and made fun of their body movements? Have I ever said anything racist on this show, ever, on or off the air? Have I ever said anything that resembles even close to what Rush Limbaugh?
No.
Okay, thank you. All right, we got to take a break. When we come back, JD, we're going to switch to the Super Bowl halftime show. Many people, evangelical Christians, what a shocker, right? They had problems with J-Lo and Shapiro shaking their ass. I wonder why that is, and I wonder if they're okay with some of the things Donald Trump has said over the course of the last several years. We'll talk about that coming up next. You're listening to The Vegas Take on 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDON.
You work hard and you train hard, and let's face it, sometimes it hurts. But it doesn't have to be that way. Stick it to the pain with the Tiger Balm Pain Relieving Patch. Convenient to apply, hydrogel technology sends Tiger Balm's proven pain relief right to your aches and pains. It's fast, safe, and long-lasting. Made from a blend of herbal ingredients, Tiger Balm is trusted pain relief for everyone, from world-class athletes to weekend warriors. Roar back with Tiger Balm. It works where it hurts. Available at stores everywhere.
When Allstate agents and employees go to work every day, their number one priority is protecting what matters most to you. For military veterans, that instinct to protect also comes naturally. No wonder thousands of veterans build good careers with Allstate. And now, Allstate is ranked the number one employer on the 2020 Military Friendly Employers list. You're in good hands with Allstate.
For career opportunities or to get a quote, contact Allstate today. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Still a few hours to wait until we begin to get the first results from the Iowa Democratic presidential caucuses. Correspondent Jeff Zeleny says officials hope to report at least the majority of the results by 4 p.m. Central Time today. But the problem is being blamed on a poorly coded app, which made it hard for caucus captains to enter results.
She tried to report on the app, so the app did not work. She tried to phone them in. The phone lines were jammed, so she went to sleep. But she got up, she said. She went out to her car, she got her materials, and she reported her information there.
Britain is urging all of its citizens in China to leave because of the virus outbreak. More than 20,000 infected with the virus. More than 425 have been killed in China alone. Gunmen shot to death 9 at a video game arcade in western Mexico. Among the dead, 3 children, 12, 13, and 14. 2 other victims, 17 and 18. I'm Mike Moss.
It's time to check the roads.
From the Lernerman Road Traffic Studio.
This report sponsored by Big O Tires. Watch for slowing for a crash reported on the 95 southbound at the 215 Southern Beltway. This is going to be on the westbound transition ramp. And also police activity reported Boulder Highway northbound at the 95 or just approaching the 95. This is for motorist assist, so it may be a stalled vehicle. Meanwhile, road work continues on Charleston at Durango. At Big O Tires now through President's Day only. Buy 2 tires, get 2 free. Good on select tires with purchase of a 1-year alignment and tire protection package through President's Day at a participating Big O Tires. John Michaels from the KDON Traffic Center.
We're aware of it. We laugh about it. We know that there is a lot of shtick in our industry.
Sam and Ash, your personal injury attorneys. Find them at samandash.com.
When your lawyer is too focused on their own image and their own persona, they're not worried about your case.
We don't pretend to be anything other than who we are. We're great lawyers. This is what it's about.
Find out more at samandash.com or call 1-800-304-2000. Sam and Ash, because you deserve what's right.
We want you to be proud of us at the end of the day. You want to go, hey, those are my lawyers.
If you own a business and want to bring attention to it, there's no better way than wrapping your vehicles. While you or your employees are driving around Vegas, let your vehicles scream about your products or services. Share with everyone on the road why you're so special. With a single vehicle wrap getting anywhere from 30,000 to 80,000 views per day, according to the Outdoor Advertising Association of America. Turn your vehicles into an amazing, spectacular moving billboard. Let Intershine Graphics show you how with the best wrap in the business. Go to IntershineGraphics.com. IntershineGraphics.com.
When you're diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer, a lot of questions run through your mind.
What am I going to do? What are my options? What did I do wrong?
We've had those thoughts too, but some questions can help you move forward.
Visit findyourmbcvoice.com for an interactive guide to help you learn the next steps to take after an MBC diagnosis.
And how to ask the questions that lead to an open and informed conversation with your doctor. Start finding your voice today
at findyourmbcvoice.com.
Mark Levin, weekdays 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Now back to the Vegas Take on 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDON.
All right, welcome back. It is the Vegas Take. Sharp and Shapiro, so glad you could join us on a Tuesday. I would imagine many of us watched the Super Bowl over the weekend and watched the Super Bowl halftime show. So I've shared my opinions about Shakira and J-Lo. They're entertainers. They're not musicians. And, you know, I would say the same thing about Britney Spears. It's not my kind of music. I don't listen to it. I don't like it. With that being said, they're entertainers, and I understand why some people like it. It's just not my thing. When I watch the Super Bowl halftime show, I want to hear music, right? Paul McCartney, the Rolling Stones, Prince, Michael Jackson. Yeah, they're entertainers, sure. But they're also musicians. I want to hear live music. That's just me. That's my personal preference. With that being said, I didn't have a problem with the halftime show. Listen, Shakira and J-Lo, they're very powerful women. They're extremely attractive. They're beautiful women. They're great dancers. Like I said, they're entertainers. So I didn't have a problem with the halftime show. There wasn't any nudity or anything like that. It was sexual. Make no mistake about it. They're two sexy women. They're flaunting what they have. I don't have a problem with that. But there are many people on the right that do. Evangelist Franklin Graham of North Carolina, one of them. He said, I don't expect the world to act like the church, but our country has had a sense of moral decency on primetime television in order to protect children. We see that disappearing before our eyes. That's what he said. And to me, he's being a hypocrite. Here's why. I want to play you some audio of Donald Trump back in the day. I didn't hear Franklin Graham talk about this. This is Donald Trump on the Access Hollywood bus with Billy Bush. Have a listen to this.
I moved on her, actually. You know, she was down in Palm Beach. I moved on her, and I failed. I'll admit it. I did try and her. She was married. I got to use some Tic Tacs just in case I start kissing her. You know, I'm automatically attracted to beautiful. I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. I don't even know. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Okay, where were the evangelical Christians on the right when this audio came out of Donald Trump? When the following day he apologized and said it was locker room talk, and then he retracted his apology and said he didn't believe it was his voice on the tape. Where was Franklin Graham then? I never criticized Melania Trump for posing naked. She had the right to do that. It wasn't against the law, and she did it. And I don't have a problem with any woman who wants to make money doing that. But decades before she was, sporting these designer dresses on the stage of the Republican National Convention as Mrs. Trump, she did pose nude in photos spread. Where was Franklin Graham then? Where are the right-wing evangelical Christians speaking out about this? About Melania Trump and her nudies, which you can find on the internet. I would never look that up, by the way. I'm just saying it is there if you want to see it. So I think there needs to be some consistency here. And what I mean by consistency is this. If you thought that halftime show with J-Lo and Shapiro was just completely awful, it was completely over the line ridiculous. If you thought that halftime show was, borderline, I'm not even going to say borderline. There's a lot of people on the right, evangelical Christians, that are saying it was disgusting. Then where are your voices when it comes to Donald Trump? Where are your voices when Donald Trump goes after a woman based on her looks? Talked about Nancy Pelosi's teeth a few weeks ago. Where are your voices when Donald Trump attacks a woman based on her looks? Remember when he was going against Ted Cruz? He went after Ted Cruz's wife, put up a picture of Melania right next to her. Where were your voices then? Now, maybe some of you had a tough time watching that halftime show. I didn't. I sort of enjoyed it as a straight man who enjoys looking at scantily clothed, attractive women. I do enjoy that from time to time. I'm not a J-Lo Shakira fan as far as music goes. I would never buy one of their albums. They're extremely attractive, and they're fun to look at, that's for sure. And they're entertainers, and I didn't have a problem with any of that stuff. Listen, if Ricky Martin decided to get up there on stage only wearing a Speedo, I probably wouldn't enjoy that as much. I definitely wouldn't. But he would have the right to do that because he's a good-looking guy, right? He's got a right to do that. So J-Lo and Shakira, don't they have a right to do the same thing? What's the problem with that? And why do you think so many people on the right have issues with that? Why do you think the evangelical Christians have a problem with the halftime Super Bowl show, but yet many of them do not speak out when Donald Trump says something sexist, when Donald Trump goes after a woman's looks, or talk about Melania Trump, how she used to pose naked, which, by the way, I don't have a problem with. Many of the evangelical Christians, they usually have a problem with women that sell their body for money and take pictures for money. I don't have a problem with that. So this is my question to the listeners out there. Did you have a problem with the halftime show? Please tell me why you had a problem with the halftime show. I want to hear from you now, and maybe you didn't have a problem with it at all. Do you agree or do you disagree with Franklin Graham of North Carolina? He said, I don't expect the world to act like the church, but our country has had a sense of moral decency on primetime television in order to protect children. We see that disappearing before our eyes. What are your thoughts on that? Number to call, 702-257-5396 is the number to call. Again, if you want to be a part of the program, 702-257-5396. Did you have a problem with the Super Bowl halftime show with Shakira and J-Lo? Do you have a problem with two very powerful, attractive women shaking their booties on a stage for the world to see? Without any nudity, by the way. Do you have a problem with that? Did you have a problem with that? Because I'm trying to figure out who, why, and if you have a problem with two women on stage shaking their booty, then shouldn't you also have a problem with some of the things that Donald Trump says on a regular basis? I certainly do. I certainly have a problem with that. Yes, I think when you say grab women by the P word and brag about sexual assault, I have a problem with people who talk like that. I don't have a problem with two very attractive women flaunting what they have, entertaining the audience on a Super Bowl halftime show. I certainly don't have a problem with that. And listen, I am not a J-Lo fan. I am not a Shakira fan. I have never bought one of their albums. I will never see them in concert. Because when I go to a concert, I want to hear musicians. I want to hear music. I don't think they're musicians. Your thoughts on this? 702-257-5396. Let's go to the calls. Let's start off with Tiffany. Tiffany, thank you for calling in. What's on your mind?
Hi.
Hi, Tiffany. What do you think about this?
Well, I have past experience being an entertainer, aka working at a gentleman's club. So for me to watch the show was alarming, seeing the actual poll out there for all the entire world to see, right? So it was alarming.
Mm-hmm. So you're a woman who, and by the way, I have no problem with what you did for work. It's perfectly legal. If you're a beautiful woman and you're very comfortable showing off your body, let me be very clear. I have no problem at all. In fact, I've gone to some of those establishments from time to time, and I'm not embarrassed to say so. So Tiffany, tell me this though: for somebody that did this for a living, there wasn't any nudity. We all agree on that, right? There was a poll, and it was sexual. Jennifer Lopez and Shapiro, I think I don't speak alone when I say they're both very attractive women. They're entertainers. They're good at what they do. So why did you find that alarming?
Just it was the mayor or someone who said it. Sorry, I just tuned in, so
That's okay.
For like children that are growing up in today's day and age, like there's a fine line between like morals, like I don't know. I just feel like that's maybe where the world's going nowadays. I don't know.
Right. Oh, listen, that's fair for you to feel that way. And if you don't want your kids to watch something like that, I totally understand where you're coming from. But here's the point that I was trying to make, Tiffany. I want to ask you another question here. Some of those people, I'm not saying you, but there are some people on the right that are speaking up against this halftime show. But then when Donald Trump goes after a woman based on her looks, or when Donald Trump says some horrendous things about women, they keep their mouth shut. So I would imagine when you hear the president of the United States, go after Nancy Pelosi's teeth or going after a woman based on look, you have a problem with that as well.
Well, no one's perfect. And with America, like freedom of speech is big, but as somebody else was called in and said, nobody is held accountable for what they say nowadays.
Right.
And, there should be some kind of like trouble that they get in for what they say, because it's quite ridiculous.
And we agree, Tiffany, and that's why I certainly respect your opinion. I will also say this about J-Lo and Shakira. I don't think they're extremely musically talented. I don't consider them musicians. I mean, I'm just being honest with you. They're entertainers. They're no different than Britney Spears. Do you think Britney Spears could get up there and sing a cappella and sing, "Hit Me Baby" one more time with a guitar? Of course not, right? I mean.
I loved Shakira on the drums, though. That was epic.
Listen, they're entertainers, right? They're very good at what they do. They're entertainers. I just don't consider them musicians. That's just my personal opinion, Tiffany. But I certainly respect yours, and I appreciate your point of view. Thank you so much for calling in, Tiffany.
Thanks for having me on the call.
Appreciate it. 702. Jesus, I wonder if I've ever seen her at one of these gentlemen's clubs before. I'm sorry, I had to ask that question. I don't know if I have. She seems very, very intelligent, though, and very lovely. 702-257-5396 is the number to call. Let's go to Steven. Steven, you're next up on the Vegas Take. What's going on, my man?
What's up, guys? Great day. Listen, Franklin Graham is a hypocrite. He's just a straight Donald Trump Kool-Aid drinking. He's got all this moral indignation towards these ladies on this halftime show. There was nothing wrong with that show.
Stephen, the essence, Stephen, listen, I agree with you. The essence of what we're talking about, Stephen, and I respect that last lady who called in, and the reason why I do is because she disagrees with Donald Trump and his remarks as well. I have no problem if you're consistent, but here's the thing I don't understand, Stephen. If you're a parent and you're tuned into the halftime show, you have a right to turn off the TV and bring your kids into another room. That's what I don't understand.
That's right. Exactly right. And you know what? If it was a rated R halftime show, I didn't see the NFL put up any disclaimers.
They did not.
They didn't do any of that. And like I said, Latin people, salsa.
There's a lot of butt shaking, a lot of booty shaking.
It's a lot of shaking. It's a lot of
That's right.
Sexiness. It's a lot. That's the expression. I mean, but Franklin Graham, this dude, man, he can support Trump.
Exactly.
And look, you can support Trump if you want. Did you see the guy do the halftime show, the national anthem?
Yes.
You see how he was acting like a fool?
He was acting like he was orchestrating a band and pointing at people. It was extremely inappropriate. Yes, I think you should.
I think he might
Yeah.
have been a little high. Maybe he's on little cocaine or something. I don't know. Something was wrong with him.
I don't
But he said he made a statement before. He said you should stand proudly and for the national anthem, and you should respect it.
Yeah.
You know. And what was he doing?
Yeah. Exactly.
Everybody else had their hand over their heart. Everybody else was paying respect.
Let me put it to you this way, Stephen. Stephen, let me put it to you this way, and I think you'll agree with me. I am a lot more troubled the president of the United States not paying attention to the national anthem and putting his hand over his chest and acting like a fool rather than J-Lo or Shapiro shaking their butts.
I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
Man.
Stephen, always appreciate it when you call in, my friend. Thank you so much.
Thanks, man.
All right. 702-257-5396 is the number to if you want to call in. We're talking about the halftime show at the Super Bowl. Why is it that some people on the right have a problem with J-Lo and Shakira shaking their booties, but when it comes to the horrible things Donald Trump says about women on a regular basis, silence? Is that double standard? You tell me. 702-257-5396. Let's go to Andy. Andy, you're next up on the Vegas Take. What's going on?
Hey, Brian. Hey, so let me just say, I have no problem with the halftime show. I thought it was a great show. But I think the difference between, what Trump did and, the problem that, the far right, has with the halftime show is Trump had a private conversation, or supposedly private, but it got caught on tape. And it was between two men. And, the halftime show is seen around the world, children watching, parents, with their children are watching. And I think that's the issue that they have with that.
So let me ask you this then, Andy, and I listen, I don't disagree with you, but here's what I've always said. Like, if you're a parent and you're watching the game with your kids, you have the power to change the channel and skip, watch something else. I guess that's the part I don't understand about society, whereas if you think something is tasteless and you don't want your kids to watch it, just change the channel.
Yeah, but, and it's true, but you're expected to watch a football game. It's a Super Bowl. So you're looking for, sporting event. You're looking for entertainment. You're not looking for a strip show, on the TV.
Was it really I understand, Andy, but was it really a strip show? I mean, they weren't naked.
Not that they were taking clothes. Well, they did take clothes off. She did take off.
But it was no different than a woman. It was no different than if you take your kids on the beach and if you see a bunch of women in swimsuits. I mean, yeah, there was a pole involved and it was a little sexual. I agree, but it was still PG-13.
Yeah, no, but getting back to the whole, comparison, I think, you've admitted you've gone to strip clubs before.
Sure.
Nobody's recorded you at a strip club and what you've said about the women up on stage. You just hung up on a lady, Tiffany, and you called her a lovely woman after she hung up. I hope you call me a lovely man after you hang up with me.
Well, here's why I praised her, Andy. I'll explain why. And if you don't know who Andy's talking about, we had a woman who called in a few callers ago who used to be a stripper. I don't know if she still is one. Have no problem with that. But she was consistent with her opinions. While she said she thought the halftime show was a little bit inappropriate, she also is not happy with the comments that Donald Trump says when he attacks women on a regular basis. My issue, Andy, is not with her, and that's why I praised her for being honest. My issue are the people on the extreme right who think that the halftime show was an abomination, but have never spoken out about any of the horrible things Donald Trump says. Do you see where I'm getting at?
Yeah. No, I totally get that.
And that's why I said she's a lovely. That's why I call her a lovely woman because.
And it works both ways. I mean, the left, the far left, they do the same
thing. Absolutely. I would not deny that, Andy. I agree.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
Andy. I appreciate your phone call. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yep. 702-257-5396. This isn't, just a one-way street. Sure, absolutely, Democrats can be hypocrites as well. There's no question. Absolutely. Have you seen Jerry Nadler's comments, when Bill Clinton was getting impeached? Absolutely, Nadler is a hypocrite. There's no question. But we're specifically talking about the Super Bowl. We're specifically talking about the halftime show. And we're talking about how some people on the right had a huge problem with J-Lo shaking her booty. But those are some of the same people that are silent when it comes to Donald Trump going after women's looks. And I'm sorry, that's not consistent. It's not consistent. It's called political bias. 702-257-5396. Let's go to Mike. Mike, you're next up on the Vegas Take. What's going on, Mike?
Hey, not much, buddy. I agree with both sides. I think it was tasteful, but my humble opinion, I think the camera crews could have done a little better job with the angles they chose to shoot.
Mike,
the
can I be
girls
honest? Can I be honest, Mike? I think they did that on purpose.
Well, that's obvious. I mean, I thought that was, I thought the show was great, but, God bless my kids are grown. But if I had a 6 or an 8-year-old little girl, my daughter sitting next to me, and I think there's an influence that.
Well, you know what, Mike? You're probably a good parent then. You probably have great kids. You're probably a good parent, and I would totally support you changing the channel. I mean, that's called being a parent, right?
I get it, but the one thing that I think that no parent wants any kind of antagonistic behavior when you got a little girl who's looking forward to seeing the show. It's been hyped, and you're watching it, and all of a sudden in the middle of it you change it. Yeah. It might create a little bit of a problem.
Mike, I don't disagree with you. This has been going on for years, though. When Britney Spears and all these entertainers, when I grew up in the '90s, when I was in high school, sex sells. Mike, you sound like a smart guy. You know that.
I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
I was hoping for a costume malfunction. All right, I said it. It is what it is.
Hey, listen. I enjoyed when Janet Jackson showed her breast. I'll be honest with you. Okay, I enjoyed that. I did, Mike. But hey, I appreciate your phone call, my man. Thank you very much. 702-257-5396. Let's go to Jasmine. Jasmine, you're next up on the Vegas tape. What's going on?
Yes, hi. Well, I'm listening to your conversation here, and honestly, I didn't have a problem with the show. I enjoyed it. I am Hispanic. I grew up listening to their music, Shapiro and J-Lo, but I honestly think whoever has a problem with it, yes, they are hypocrites, they are racist,
right?
And I think they're empowering women. That poll that J-Lo had there, her point was that women are on top of the world. We are ruling now, and I just don't like the people want to say stuff about.
And Jasmine, can I ask you a question? I don't disagree with you. Let me ask you this. I'm sitting here on the radio. I watch that show. If I say, wow, J-Lo has an unbelievable butt, right? Or Shakira, and I say, wow, what a body Shakira has. I'm not demeaning women by saying that. I'm actually complimenting them. They're beautiful.
Yes.
Right? So let me ask you this. Here I am complimenting a woman, and yes, I think they're both extremely attractive. And then you have Donald Trump, who always says negative things, not always, but at times says negative things about a woman, about her features. I remember Stormy Daniels, he called her horse face. He went at Nancy Pelosi about her teeth. These same people, where are they when Donald Trump makes these comments, negative comments about women? Here I am saying positive things about J-Lo and Shakira. They're extremely beautiful, attractive women, and they're flaunting what they have.
Yeah, I honestly agree with you. Whoever all these people that are talking bad about them, they should also speak up to this man that's always saying something about a woman, and just speak up, stand up, because it's all of us. It's not just one woman, or it's because I don't know her, it's not going to affect me. He sees everyone the same, and he does belittle people, and I don't know, people should start speaking up.
Well, Jasmine, all I can tell you is that's what we try to do on this show every day, and I appreciate you calling in, Jasmine. Thank you so much for your perspective. 702-257-5396, the number to call. Let's go to Ed. Ed, you're next up on the Vegas Take.
Howdy.
What's up, Ed?
Yeah, all I wanted to say is I didn't take it in the halftime show. I'm a 10-year vet that still hasn't gotten over that knee thing.
Thank you for your service to the country, sir. We appreciate it.
I just didn't watch it, so they have their right to do whatever they got to do.
Yep.
So do I.
Mm-hmm.
And as for Donald Trump, the locker room talk, again, some of the things that he said that were really bad were probably not in public so much.
True.
Some of the things that he does say in public, they're a little on the edge and probably shouldn't be said. But again, we got a president now that's willing to go out on the edge and not be politically correct, and I respect that.
Ed, listen, I hear where you're coming from. I respect anyone that speaks their mind, but I think you have to be somewhat respectful towards others. For example, my biggest take on Donald Trump, and I know we're getting in the weeds here, is when he went after John McCain in his war service. A guy that didn't serve himself, that dodged the military, going after John McCain and saying he doesn't respect McCain because he was captured. I think there's a fine line, Ed. I understand what you're saying, between not being politically correct, which I'm totally okay with, and then being over the line completely disrespectful. I think those are two different things.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I mean, again, but sometimes you just say something out of anger or something like that, and I can't expect him to be any more than human. He's going to lose his temper sometimes and maybe say something that he he regrets.
I think they got to take his Twitter.
I've done that before.
Well, listen, we all have, Ed. I just think when you're the president of the United States and the leader of the free world, you have to have a little bit of restraint. But I do understand where you're coming from, Ed. Thank you for the phone call. 702-257-5396. Let's go to Noah. Noah, you're next up. What's going on?
Yeah, I just wanted to comment on. I think the halftime show was amazing, but I think maybe having Donald Trump's wife up there would be great one of these Super Bowls.
You know what, Noah? If Donald Trump's wife was up there, which, by the way, I wouldn't be opposed to, if Donald Trump's wife was up there, I bet you all these evangelicals on the right wouldn't be complaining about the halftime show.
Oh yeah, you know that's right.
Yeah, hey, Noah, you and me
Man,
are.
I love your show. I love your show, man. We listen to you all the time. And
Thanks, Noah. I appreciate that. I appreciate that, Noah. Thank you for listening. 702. How about that for an idea? Melania Trump in the halftime show? I don't think that's going to happen. I guess never say never. I wonder if somebody asked Donald Trump that question, I wonder what he would say. Or what if somebody asked Donald Trump, hey, we want to get your daughter in the halftime show on stage with J-Lo. I bet you Trump might say yes. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility. 702-257-5396. I believe we have Richard next on the line. Richard, you're up next. What's going on?
Hey, thanks for taking my call. I don't know the other performer real well, but I've loved J-Lo and a lot of stuff she does. I'm not a big fan of the music, but I think her acting's been, in some cases, downright inspirational. I enjoyed the show. I didn't, it's like the music wasn't my thing, but I liked it.
Music isn't what music. Richard, music wasn't the thing for me either, but I wasn't offended like you.
I wasn't offended either. I think they took it to the edge, but I don't really think they took it past. And I think the ground's been broken enough at NFL halftime shows where if you want your young kid watching it, there's something a little wrong with you.
Well, I tend to agree with you. And what is the demographic of people that are watching the Super Bowl? I'm not saying there's not women watching. I'm not saying there's not kids watching. But the majority of people watching NFL football games, even the Super Bowl, are men 25 to 45. I mean, that's their demo. That's their demo. So what is wrong with having a few very attractive women get on stage, flaunt their stuff without going too far, like you said, and putting on an entertaining show? Yes, it was a little sexual. So what? Why do people have a problem with that?
Yeah, great. It was a good show. I'm right, and I liked it.
All right, Richard, thank you for the call. We appreciate it. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, this is going to be a lot of fun. I watched this show, Divas. It was awesome. Do you remember that show, Divas, back in the day? Well, Frank Marino, who does probably the best Joan Rivers impersonation of anybody I've ever seen in my life. He's incredible. He's going to be joining us in studio next. He has a new gig in Las Vegas. It's a show called Legends in Concert, and we've had a few of those performers from that show actually come in studio before. And now the new MC of Legends in Concert, Frank Marino, will be joining us next. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back here in just a few minutes. You're listening to The Vegas Take right here on the all-new 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDON.
Do you know that mortgage rates have plummeted to a 3-year low and are nearing historic lows? At the same time, home values have gone up roughly 50% in the last several years. However, they seem to be peaking now. Maybe it's time to put that equity to work by paying off high-rate credit cards, personal loans, or remodel your house. Hi, I'm Wesley Hoagland with Westland Financial. Let us put you in a position to do any of these things with no closing costs. That's right. Nothing's rolled into your loan, whether it's conventional, FHA, or VA, will pay your title, settlement, lender, and recording fees. Maybe you just want to lock in a lower rate or refinance out of paying mortgage insurance. All it takes is a 5-minute phone call to see how we can save you thousands of dollars a year. So call Westland at 888-455-3669. It's the biggest no-brainer in the history of mankind. Call us at 888-455-3669. 888-455-3669. That's 888-455-3669.
NMLS number 3304. Not all loans apply. Equal housing lender.
The only FM news talk station in the Valley. 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDWN Las Vegas, a Beasley Media Group station.
Slow motion results. Senators make their cases. I'm Mike Moss.
God, it's good to be in New Hampshire. Oh, whoa.
Like a lot of the candidates frustrated at a lack of results being reported from the Iowa presidential caucuses, Joe Biden is telling supporters in New Hampshire he thinks he did well.
We had a good night last night in Iowa. And I know you think that's silly, but everything we can feel, it's good. Here's the deal. We think we're going to come out of there really doing well, but, be careful what you say because it's not done yet.
Iowa's Democratic Party Chairman Troy Price tells the candidates the reporting delay was caused by a poorly coded app, but he can't promise much more than half the returns by 4 p.m. Central Time today. Senators continue to offer their reasons for acquitting or convicting the president in the impeachment trial.
Republican Senator Lisa Murkowski says she cannot vote to convict the president, saying removing him from office is something the voters should decide in November. But Murkowski announced some decisions of her own about the entire impeachment process.
The House failed in its responsibilities.
And the Senate, she said, has nothing to be proud of either.
The Senate should be ashamed by the rank partisanship that has been on display here.
But that's not all.
And a careless media cheerfully tried to put out the fires with gasoline.
The Senate votes tomorrow on whether to acquit or convict President Trump. Linda Kenyon, Washington.
Hong Kong hospitals had cut services as thousands of medical workers went on strike for a second day to demand the border with mainland China be shut completely. The new virus caused its first death in Hong Kong, adding to growing fears there it's spreading. At least 425 have died and 20,000 have been infected by the virus in China. On Wall Street, the Dow up 482, S&P up 53.
It's time to check the roads.
From the Lerner Road Traffic Studio.
This report sponsored by Big O Tires. Slowing for a crash reported on the 95 in the East Valley. This is southbound at the 215 Southern Beltway on the westbound transition ramp. And police conducting a hit-and-run accident investigation at Boulder Highway just north of Flamingo. An injury crash active reported at Las Vegas Boulevard near Desert Inn Road. At Big O Tires, now through President's Day only, buy 2 tires, get 2 free. Good on select tires with purchase of a 1-year alignment and tire protection package through President's Day at a participating Big O Tires. I'm John Michaels from the KDON Traffic Center.
It's open enrollment season, and Medishare is the Christian healthcare sharing ministry that saves most families about $500 a month. Google Medishare and see if it's a fit for you. Medishare, healthcare you can believe in.
If you need to sell your house,
talk to Aaron Taylor.
You want to sell it fast and get the most cash, talk to Aaron Taylor,
the real estate guy.
Aaron Taylor here, your #1 real estate guy. 2019 was an incredible year, and 2020 will be even better. We have designed a 3-step program to get our sellers the most money possible. Number 1, sellers that want a cash offer, we will provide you several offers from all iBuyer companies, Zillow, OfferPad, Opendoor, and all local investors. Number 2, we will pay and do all repairs with our crew and list your property to get you the highest price. Number 3, for our traditional sellers, we will provide our 25 years of experience along with our exceptional marketing campaign, all to get you the most money possible. And to top it all off, we give a cash advance within 24 hours if needed for all sellers. Call 702-310-6683. That's 702-310-MOVE. eXp Realty, call for details.
talk to Aaron Taylor,
the real estate guy.
Hi, it's David Masters. Join me and my brother Alan for Advice Line, 10 to midnight, Monday through Friday, right here on 720 KDON and on 101.5 FM. That's Advice Line, America's live radio counseling program. If you've got problems, we've got your answers. Monday through Friday, 10 to midnight.
Hi, I'm Dave Mizrahi, owner of Best Mattress. At our President's Day sale, save up to $1,800 on the brands you know and trust. Serta, Sealy, Beautyrest, Stearns & Foster, and Tempur-Pedic. Plus, get a free adjustable base with your queen mattress purchase of $599 or more. And pay no down and no interest for 24 months. Whether you're rah-rah for Reagan, mad for Madison, crazy for Carter, or gaga for Garfield, save big at the big President's Day sale at Best Mattress. Sleep easy, friends. See store for details.
Mark Levin, weekdays 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Now back to the Vegas Take on 101.5 FM, 720 a.m. KDON. The opinions of the hosts on KDWN are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of this station, its management, or Beasley Media Group. Right now, the day's biggest news stories from a Vegas perspective. This is the Vegas Take with Sharp and Shapiro.
All right, welcome back. It is the Vegas Take. Sharp and Shapiro rolling out the red carpet for hour number 3, baby. By the way, coming up at the bottom of the hour, a woman by the name of Jennifer Miller Gonzalez will join us, a personal friend to Kobe Bryant. The reason why women's basketball is going on in Las Vegas, she's going to tell us that story, a very touching one coming up at the bottom of the hour. But the guy we have in studio with us right now, I've been a big fan of his for a long time. Do you remember the show Divas on the Strip? It was awesome. And I probably went to see that show 7 or 8 times. It was hilarious, it was fun, and it was a great show. Well, Frank Marino is now going to be on a new show, not a new show on the Strip. Legends in Concert has been going on for years. I remember watching it like 20 years ago in Atlantic City before I moved here. So Legends in Concert has been going on for a long time. If you don't know what Legends in Concert is, it is incredible. We had a George Michael lookalike who sounds like George Michael, looks like George Michael. So that's what these entertainers do. They're incredible. And Frank Marino is now going to be the new MC of the show, which starts February 10th. Frank, thanks so much for being here. How are you?
Thank you for having me. Yes, I'm very excited about this.
All right. Before we talk about Legends in Concert, let's talk about your career a little bit. Because you are known for your Joan Rivers impersonation and dressing in drag, right? Is that fair to say? And you look very good on the stage. I will say that. And you look like a very, very good Joan Rivers.
Thank you.
You know, a fairly young Joan Rivers. When did you first start putting on makeup, dressing in these outfits, and when did you first say to yourself, wow, I'm actually pretty good at this?
All right, to make it really short, I wanted to be a doctor. I lived in Long Island, New York. I wanted to be a doctor, and
you still got the accent, by the way.
I know. I can't. Everybody else in my family, it's gone. Mine, it's stayed. So I wanted to be a doctor, so I was working on Sundays in a large pharmacy that had the pharmacy in the back, and I was supposed to be helping the pharmacist. And I would spend most of the time up front at the makeup counter when the reps would come in, and I would just be a gifted talker, and I would talk to these guys, and I learned how to use all these products. So 16 years old, I went to a Halloween party dressed as my idol, Diana Ross.
Nice.
And I met this agent in the audience day one, and he's like, Michael Jackson's really big, and Diana Ross supposedly discovered them. Why don't we send you out as a duo? And I was doing weddings and bar mitzvahs and doing spoofs on Diana Ross, and realize, look, you're not black, and look, you can't sing. So you better find a white comedian if you're going to do drag. And that's how I ended up with Joan Rivers.
That is so awesome. And
playing to your strengths. I can totally appreciate that.
That is so awesome. So, okay, so you're 16 years old. Somebody realizes that you have a talent.
I'm running around like Joan Rivers.
Yes.
And I see she's playing Atlantic City, like you just said. Atlantic City is where you saw Legends. So they were opening a show called La Cage in Atlantic City.
Yep.
So Joan's playing Atlantic City, and I knock on her dressing room door. She lets me come backstage. She was very nice. And I met these producers that were there putting a show on and had another Joan Rivers there. And I knew I was much better than he was. So they offered me to come out to Beverly Hills, audition for the show, which I did do. And the first gig we got was 6 months in Florida for season. And Pia Zadora came in to see the show, her and her husband,
Who
Michelle.
lives here in Vegas.
Yes, and we're good friends now still.
Yep.
They decided, they own the Riviera, to put La Cage at the Riviera, which was the first hotel to have 2 shows. Splash was the big show in the main room, and we had like the 600-seater where we did La Cage. And it was going to be a 3-month run, and we stayed there 25 years.
Wow.
When that closed, I opened my own Divas, and we were at the Link for 10 years, starting as the Imperial Palace, then the Quad, then the Link.
That is incredible. So how did you find all these people? Because obviously you weren't the only one doing the Divas show.
Yeah.
You had other talented people. How did you find these people? How do you look for somebody?
Well, when we first started La Cage, we would get like modeling agencies. Everybody wants to be a model, and they send in their picture. Well, everybody wanted to be. Whoever wanted to be an impersonator would send it in either to Legends if they were real singers, or if they lip sync and they would come to La Cage. So when I did Divas, I just knew who was the best of the best, and my producer at the time wasn't going to pay the high price for some of the ones that were really good. And I thought, let me just pay the high price and get everybody really good, and that's how we did Divas.
And how long were you in Las Vegas for doing that show?
I came here this is my 36th year, so 35 years I've been doing it.
That is incredible. I mean, most people, they don't even last 6 months or a year doing a show on the Strip. So what advice?
35 weeks is a lot these days, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And Legends is here 37 years, so they came right before us.
Right, so you guys have that in common. I mean, okay, so what did you explain your success and how you were able to do this show for as long as you did, because that's incredible.
Well, I think the reason the shows like ours lasted is it can change every day. If you go to see a big production show right now, they put millions of dollars into it. It's going to be the same next year when you go back. with Divas and with Legends, you go see the show. So now you're going to come, let's say you came next week. You're going to see Tina Turner, Elvis Presley, Freddie Mercury, Joan Rivers, blah, blah, blah. We just did a trial show before it when I went in, and we had like Lady Gaga. I just saw it over the Christmas thing, and in Atlantic City, they had like Whitney Houston. There's always another star.
Right.
So I will change my monologue towards current events, right?
Which I love.
You were saying like,
Which I love.
you know, like, and I'm careful. Like, if I talk about politics.
I love your accent, by the way. I'm careful.
I'm careful.
He sounds like my mom.
And I have cough.
He sounds just like your mom.
I just try to play to everybody, so I'll make the joke about me. Like, if I'm talking about the president, I don't put him down one way or the other. I would say something like, I'd be a good president.
Constantly.
You know, I said, I save you a lot of money because I could also be first lady. So I make it generic for everybody. I don't want anybody upset, and we just keep it fun. And Legends is a family show. I make it sort of a dysfunctional family show, but still a family show.
I love it. You're going to be a great MC because you were great on Divas, and I enjoy, so I know this is going to be a perfect relationship with Legends. Okay, I have to ask you one controversial question.
Go for it.
It does involve drag queens, and I want to get your opinion on it because what better person to ask than you, right? So we've been covering this story in Henderson, right? I don't know if you heard about it. So you have these drag queens that are reading books to children in the libraries. Now, me personally, I don't have any problem with it at all. I think it's fine. Parents should be able to make their own decisions. So we had, one of the drag queens come on and defend himself eloquently. And then we had a person on the other side of it saying, this is terrible. Me personally, like I said, we both don't see anything wrong with it. It should be the parents' decision. What do you say?
I'm surprised you could find one that could read. No, I'm just kidding. Joking. Any impersonators out there? No. They called and asked me if I would do it.
Did they really?
Yeah.
So you didn't do it?
No. But they do this all the time. Like, this isn't just a one-time thing. They have different people doing it all over the country.
Right.
Well, obviously, I'm a drag queen, so I don't see anything wrong with it. But people have issues. People have issues with everything. And if you
why is it that? Let me ask you this: why is it, Frank, that people, not all, I'm not one of these people, but why is it that some people think that if you wear drag, you must be assaulting somebody or you must be committing a crime? Why do people think that way? I don't understand.
They're also going to say you have to be gay. Okay, so
and that's not true.
That's not true. And if you think of where drag came from, go back to Kabuki, go back to Shakespeare, when women couldn't be in theater and the men would play the women. Look at old Milton Berle, Flip Wilson, Tootsie. You go on and on and on, right? So they just make their own assumptions in their head. And that's what happens a lot of times. People think they know something and they have no idea what they're talking about.
One time I dressed up as a woman, and I'll give you this quick story, and you could tell me if I handled it the right way. So I was wearing fishnets, and I was wearing high heels, and it was for Halloween. And a woman slapped me on the ass on the dance floor and said, now, how do you like it? And I responded, I like it a lot. I think it's great. The only issue I had, Frank, was my friend that I was with at the time, male friend, he was very drunk. And picture me in high heels and fishnets. I looked like a crack whore. That's what I looked like. And my arm is around him, and I'm helping him into the men's room. And I'm pulling my dress up without getting too graphic to use the urinal. And I had my arm around him walking into the men's room. And then people were taking pictures of me saying, honey, you're in the wrong restroom.
Oh, my God.
But I just laughed it off. I thought it was funny. I thought it was funny. The point is, we're all having a good time.
Yeah.
And that's about what you did with Divas and Legend Concert. It's about having a good time.
Who were you trying to be exactly that night?
Well, I just said a bald, white crack whore.
Not in particular?
No, I mean, I'm not good looking enough like Frank to be able to go into detail. I was not a good looking woman, I will say that.
By the way, despite the fact that you've been in Vegas doing this for 35 years, you look 10 years younger than both of us.
That's true, actually. You do look better than both of us, Frank.
Can I come on the show more often?
Look at us. We're slobs. But anyway, if you're just joining us, we're speaking with Frank Marino. So he's going to be the new MC of the show Legends in Concert. Tell me where the show is going to be.
So the show's at the Tropicana Hotel, and we talked about free parking. Locals, you're going to love that. And Legends itself is making a big transition. They're not, it's not like your grandma's Legends in Concert. This is now a ultimate Vegas show. Sexy showgirls, great superstars, modern music, me and my risque type of humor. I try not to be vulgar, but I do go risque. And it's a party. If you say what, and Celebrate Vegas is their new hashtag. And it's the ultimate Vegas show. You have everything in the show, and everything's live. And it's so hard to find a live band.
That's true.
You know, unless you're one of these multi-million-dollar production shows.
That's true. So going into Legends, because we had a guy who played George Michael.
Yes.
He came in studio and sang for us. Not only, I think JD could attest to this, not only did he look exactly like George Michael, he sounded exactly like George Michael. He sang a song for us. I think it was Father Figure, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he was outstanding.
I mean, and I think of these performers, and it's like they are Michael Jackson. They are George Michael. Their life surrounds around this figure, whether they're here or not. And it's incredible, right? They live that character in their everyday life. I know that what is the show I'm thinking of? Purple Rain, the show.
Yes.
I forgot his name, but the guy who plays Prince. I'm
Yeah,
sure
I
you're
just saw that too.
He's
That
fantastic.
was very good, yes.
He's fantastic. But it's like you have to get down not just the singing aspect of it, the mannerisms, right? And it's hard enough to look like that character. And you could attest to that with Joan Rivers.
I always wonder if the star themselves know how much these people study them and how much of their lives are, you know, like for Joan, I was lucky enough to know Joan, you know what I'm saying? But I wondered always if she knew how much
Did you
her
ever
life
tell her?
was important. No, I never really got to tell her that. But other people, I'd wonder like if their stars would know. You know, like I'm sure Madonna's not calling the Madonna impersonator. Of
course.
And the reason I'm going to guess that there's a George Michaels in the show is that's Mark here's favorite entertainer.
He's
right?
fantastic.
You look at him. See, he's shaking his head. He just loves George Michaels.
Well, he's fantastic. I mean, he's a great musician. And these people, we have to understand, they're not just actors and actresses. They're great musicians in their own right, which is incredible. Okay, so let me ask you this, Frank. If you're bringing on a new character, you want a new character in your act. I would imagine you've had that over the course of your career. How long does it take to kind of perform it in front of people? I'm talking about getting paid to perform that character. Because like you said, you have to study. There's so many different elements. So go through the element part of this. How long does it take you to actually get a character down pat?
Well, when I started, it was VHS tapes. So they would like, I'm going to say like taped concerts on television, HBO, whatever. And they would watch the movements. And it's easy to do if you really like somebody, because then you could try to get that essence. And you like them for a reason. You see something in them that you want yourself and you put it out there. But it's not, I'm not going to say day one is not perfect. I'm going to say, and to this day, I still learn something every day. And I'll go in and I'll ask the new kids in the show, like, how do you do this? How do you do, oh, what is that you're doing? And once you stop learning is when it stops. But as long as I feel if you go in there and continue to learn and grow with the character, let's face it, 35 years, Joan was a lot younger when we started.
Right,
And then before her.
You still talk to her daughter?
No, I went to her shiva, and since that day, I haven't seen Melissa, but because it's like an odd situation, I wouldn't know what to say.
Right. If you're just joining us, we're speaking with Frank Marino. He is the MC for the show upcoming February 10th, Legends in Concert. Here's what we're going to do. Since we love our listeners, even though some of them don't love me back, that's fine. They still listen. We're going to give away, JD, you could definitely attest to that.
That is reality.
Yes. We're going to give away 2 tickets to Legends in Concert, not just 2 regular tickets. You're going to be a VIP thanks to Frank and the Vegas Take. 5th caller right now. You're going to win a pair of tickets to see Legends in Concert. Check out Frank as the new MC yourself. The number to call, 702-257-5396. Again, 5th caller right now, you score a pair of tickets to Legends in Concert. That number, 702-257-5396. Okay, so moving forward now, how did this relationship start with Legends in Concert?
Well, Mark and I have been trying to do this for 10 years. So it was either I was working or they didn't have a spot open, and it never came to be. And then finally, it just worked out like 6 months ago where he said, would you be interested in doing this? And I said, it's perfect timing. Let's do it. And we went in just for a seasonal try, and we did so well together. The marriage was perfect. That it just
Find a
worked.
marriage, find one that is.
Ours is the only perfect marriage out there. But the people were liking it, and I was like, listen, I would ask the people at the end of the show, I know I'm a little bit risque. Did you like the yin and the yang, the family show combined? And they all liked it, and because it's Vegas.
Of course.
You're not going to church. You're coming here to have a nice night out.
Are you going to be Frank Marino? No, you're going to be dressed up as some of your characters.
I'll be dressed like Joan Rivers, yes.
Okay, so
only Joan Rivers for the whole show.
Here's a stupid question. Have you ever been in a situation, because I would imagine when you're dressed up, you're performing, right? But have you ever been in a situation where you were dressed up and people didn't know it was you. Maybe it was one of your friends or somebody you work with, and they actually thought it was actually the character that you were playing. Has that ever happened in your life?
Not to me, but to a lot of the kids in the show, yes.
Really?
My Reba McEntire, for sure. We went to see Reba, and that's what I would love to do, is like, I took my Diana Ross to see Diana Ross, I took Reba to see Reba, and I like taking a picture with one on one side and one on the other side,
Right.
and, you know, and it goes over great on Facebook, but it's really exciting to let them see the star and that get that close, and the star to see the person.
That's awesome.
And then they'll always come see the show after that happens. So that's what's been
I would
fun.
imagine over the course of your career, you've been doing this longer than I've been alive. I don't mean to make you sound old, Frank, but
I
you've
am.
been doing this for a long time. But some of the most famous people that you've met in your career, maybe that you've always wanted to meet and you met because of what you do for a living, besides somebody like a Joan Rivers, I would imagine you've met a lot of prominent people.
Well, some of the ones would be, like I said, I started as Diana Ross.
So you met Diana Ross.
Yeah, so I had to become an entertainer to make that happen. And I remember I was playing in Laughlin at the Riverside Hotel.
The Riverside, yep.
And Caesars called me up that I was working for Caesars Entertainment and said, if you want to meet Diana Ross, because I bugged them like crazy when she was coming there, you can meet her tonight. I let my understudy do the show in Laughlin and drove back to Vegas like at high speed and got to meet Diana Ross.
So what is that conversation like when you meet a true diva legend like Diana Ross?
Well, that would be the only one where I'd say I stuttered and didn't know what to say.
Did you really?
Yeah, I loved you for years. Normally, it doesn't faze me. Like, Oprah was another big one.
Really? Did she come to your show?
No, we went to her. We were doing a show, and
you were on her show.
Yeah, she just has like an energy that was amazing.
Do you think she would be a good president? Do you think she should run for office?
Yes.
See, I think so too.
I love Oprah.
I think if Oprah ran for office, she would destroy Donald Trump. I really do believe that. I don't think she wants to do it though. I don't think, and she doesn't.
She
need
doesn't
to.
have any desire, according to her, when you see her on TV. I also like Ivanka Trump.
She's yeah. She's,
you know, people. I never talk politics, but I
Have
just
you met
like
her?
her as a person. I got to meet. Yes,
So
and
what was
I've
that
also
like?
worked for Donald Trump. Being in show business, Atlantic City, he owns half of it at one time.
So did you
That's
ever
true.
have you met Donald Trump before?
Many times, and
Okay,
as a
so-
businessman, I was very impressed.
So
with
this
everything.
was pre-President Donald Trump, and a
Yes.
lot of people say that he was a little different back then, and he's a little different. So explain to me your interactions working for Donald Trump at his hotel in Atlantic City. What was it like meeting Donald Trump? Was he always respectful to you? What were those conversations
Yes.
like?
Donald Trump was always respectful, and everything was run perfectly in his hotels as far as for the entertainers.
Never said anything inappropriate in front of you.
No.
So what
no,
happened?
well, we were never in a situation where he would need to or anything like that, and it was very brief each time. But his properties were, I could only go by his employees. The employees were all like on point, and everything was done nicely. It was like being in Disneyland, but instead being like Atlantic City.
Would you ever consider doing a Donald Trump impersonation? Like, have you ever done that before? Have you ever done any politicians?
No.
Just stay away.
You
from
mean
that sort of stuff.
impersonating?
Yeah, yeah. You've stayed. Well, no.
You know,
Would
sometimes you need to cut the line. You do what you got to do.
If you had to do one president, who would it be?
I don't know, but maybe a future president, Mayor Pete. I like him a lot.
I love Mayor Pete, and we're hoping to get him in studio in a few weeks.
I'm a big fan of Mayor
Let's
Pete.
talk about that for a second.
I just got to meet him. He was so nice.
I think he's extremely articulate. He's extremely intelligent, and I'm not just saying this because you're here, JD. You know, I've been a big fan of Pete Buttigieg. I would vote for Pete because I think he is young. He's a breath of fresh air. I don't care if he's gay or not. But let me ask you this:
And I think that Donald Trump would actually go after his sexual orientation in a debate.
Yes.
In a debate
And if he
platform,
did, it would make him look really bad.
Yes, that's the best
That
thing.
would blow up in his face, and Pete is really quick on his feet.
Yeah. See, do you think America, more than half the country, even though more than half the country did vote for Hillary Clinton, that's another story. Do you think that there are enough people out there that would vote for a gay man as president? I'm not so sure.
I'm not so sure either, which is a shame. And I'll tell you, if that happened, we might not win any more wars, but the parades would be fabulous.
That is very, very true. That is very, very true. No, well, we're going to try to get Pete in
so
studio.
long as Lisa Vanderpump consulted on the parade.
That's right. Vice President. I love that. There's a man who'll be thinking.
That's right. So you must be pretty excited about this, right? February 10th. This is your first show as the MC. The Tropicana is a great hotel. We were talking a little bit off the air about how 20 years ago wasn't as nice as it is right now. And I love the Laugh Factory there. Harry Basil is one of the owners of the Laugh Factory, does a fantastic job there. People there are very friendly. The restaurants have improved there. Really, everything has improved.
And
at
it's really
Tropicana.
crazy that there's all those shows there. Like I was saying at the Riviera, we were the first hotel to have 2 shows. They have like 4 or 5, like you were saying, and every one of them are crowded.
I hate to bring this up, but I have to bring it up.
Go ahead.
I saw a show. You remember this guy, Jan Reuven?
Yes.
I saw he's behind bars right now. Not to bring a negative to the show, but Jan is not doing very well these days. But that was actually that's the same showroom though that Jan was in. That's actually a really nice showroom.
Yes.
Yeah, that is how many seats is that?
1,100.
That's a lot of people.
It's huge.
Yeah, that's a lot of. Yeah, that's a lot of people. That's pretty cool. Well, listen, the Tropicana has had a lot of shows that have lasted a long time there, and they have that staying power. You also mentioned that even though a lot of tourists flock that casino, and I'm sure you would agree with this, in order to have a long-lasting show in Vegas, it has to be local friendly.
Yes.
Right? So talk a little bit about that.
Well, locals are the key to the whole thing, and they're going to get, when you live in Vegas, you guys know, you get a lot of company. I never had so many people like me till I moved to Las Vegas because they want to stay with you.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So thank God for Uber. So yes, we always do local. Divas and Legends always did local specials. They do we're going to give it away the tickets, but local are the key. You want to make sure those people like the show, so when people do come in, they talk about it and say, "Here's the show we'd like to take you to." And a show like Legends is a show you can come back time and time again because it just evolves. It never stops. It's just constantly growing and changing. And now it's probably the most exciting time it's ever been because it's such a big change.
Absolutely. Some of the biggest stars that have seen your show in the past. Can you name a few?
Oh, well, in Divas, and Legends too. Wasn't your first, am I going to say this right? Your first, was it Michael Jackson impersonator? Was Bruno Mars. The real one.
That's incredible.
In the Hawaii show. Is that crazy?
How was he good? I bet you he was really good.
Well,
he must have been incredible. Yeah, small. Bruno Mars.
And then he becomes Bruno Mars. How crazy is that?
Bruno Mars is not very tall. He's just small, but what a talented guy, right?
And
incredible.
What's really strange to me is you forget 35 years. I'll look back and go, I knew the Rat Pack and I knew Liberace, and I was 17, so I didn't get it. But now looking back at history and you see them in magazines and stuff going, I knew them, and people, yeah, right.
Right, of course.
But when I have pictures with these people, I just put a thing on Facebook, me and Milton Berle, talk about old time, right? In black and white. Scary. Doing a joke off on stage for a TV show we did.
That's so awesome. God, the memories and all the people that you've met in your career, it's unbelievable. So I want to ask you this, Cole. We only got about a minute left here. For somebody that has never seen the show Legends in concert before, I have. And it's a fantastic show. And me and JD went not that long ago, actually. But for somebody that's listening right now that has never seen the show before, give them a reason to go, besides you, of course. But talk a little bit about the show.
Well, I would be the main reason anybody would want to go, but no. It's like the concert they could never be. You're going to be in a room where you have Lady Gaga, and you have Whitney Houston, and you have Mariah Carey, and whatever the lineup is, these amazing stars. And you're not just seeing one, you're seeing a bunch of different stars. So it's one big party, and then the visuals between the big sets and the showgirls and the beauty of the show. It's one of the dinosaurs left of the Las Vegas shows.
And as far as ambiance, is there a bar nearby? Is food being served? Or what?
Oh, yes. And the more they drink, the better I look. So,
isn't that always the case? That's why when I go out with my dates,
it's like a club. They have bottle service. It's a party.
So
it's a party show.
I love that, man. All right. Well, he is Frank Marino. He is, as we just mentioned, he is going to be the new MC for the hit show that's been around for 35 plus years, Legends in Concert. It's going to be at the Tropicana. It starts February 10th. I know I am certainly going to check it out. Frank is one of the funniest guys on the Strip. There's no question about it. He's awesome, very talented at what he does, and I think Legends has done a great job in choosing him to be the MC. Frank, thanks so much for being here, man.
Thank you for having me. I had a great time.
Thanks you so much. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, a very touching Kobe Bryant story by a Vegas local. That coming up next.
When Allstate agents and employees go to work every day, their number one priority is protecting what matters most to you. For military veterans, that instinct to protect also comes naturally. No wonder thousands of veterans build good careers with Allstate. And now, Allstate is ranked the number one employer on the 2020 Military-Friendly Employers list. You're in good hands with Allstate.
For career opportunities or to get a quote, contact Allstate today. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
This is John Greenhut, and if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, Power Swabs is the answer. In 5 minutes, you'll see 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. Even better, there's no messy strips or trays that you'll have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes, and you're done. To try Power Swabs, call 1-800-679-0969. Your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free. 1-800-679-0969. That's 1-800-679-0969.
Iowa caucuses, even though officials have yet to release any results. Correspondent Vanessa Yurkevich is in New Hampshire, where the Democratic candidate is now campaigning.
He said, we are still waiting for some math, but we have arrived with the momentum, and we've arrived victorious. So again, clearly talking to the crowd here, telling them that he has emerged from Iowa victorious.
Iowa's Democratic Party says it will release at least half of the results from the caucuses by 4 p.m. Central Time today. A magnitude 5.0 aftershock has rattled southern Puerto Rico, causing some cracks but no reported injuries in a region that has been shaken by continuing earthquakes for more than a month. President Trump will deliver the State of the Union tonight, even before the Senate impeachment trial concludes, with a verdict vote scheduled tomorrow. On Wall Street, the Dow up about 460. I'm Mike Moss.
It's time to check the roads.
From the Lerner and Rowe Traffic Studio.
This report sponsored by Upwork. An accident reported on Decatur southbound at the 215 Southern Beltway. Injury sustained. Watch for emergency crews. Another injury crash still active on Las Vegas Boulevard near Desert Inns, now in the clearing stage, but still active. And a hit-and-run accident investigation underway on Boulder Highway north of Flamingo. Watch for police presence in the area. One more, it's a traffic hazard reported on Oso Blanca Road at Elkhorn in the North Valley. Upwork has the largest network of independent professionals like designers, developers, data scientists, you name it. When you need in-demand talent on demand, Upwork is how. I'm John Michaels from the KDON Traffic Center.
Hey, Chuck, can you explain the difference between Dollar Loan Center's locations and the typical check cashing and payday places?
Well, we don't have bulletproof glass, we don't have bars on the windows, we don't have plastic furniture. Look, our locations are more upscale, clean and safe, like banks used to be. You walk in, it's a beautiful atmosphere, DLC radio's cranked up, and immediately you feel comfortable and welcome.
And your locations have even won awards for how nice they are?
For several years in a row, the Financial Service Centers of America have awarded us with the Activia Award for Outstanding Community Service and the Star Award for Best Store Appearance. Both are national recognitions.
That was Chuck, founder of Dollar Loan Center, where you can get up to $5,000 in just minutes without a checking account or any collateral or car title. We have over 50 locations, or you can also apply over the phone or online at don'tbebroke.com.
Licensed by Nevada Financial Institutions Division. Customer must meet the normal loan qualifications. To review loan qualifications, visit us at don'tbebroke.com. Certain limitations may apply. Loans are subject to
When
approval.
you're diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer, a million questions flood your mind.
How can this be happening?
Am I going to be able to work?
What's a subtype? What do I do now?
We know.
We went through it too. But once you start to understand your options,
You can partner with your doctor.
and find ways to face MBC on your own terms. Visit findyourmbcvoice.com and learn how to speak up and have a more informed conversation with your doctor.
Some questions have answers.
Visit findyourmbcvoice.com to find some of yours.
Mark Levin, weekdays 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Now back to the Vegas Take on 101.5 FM, 720 AM. KDON.
All right, welcome back. It is the Vegas Take, Sharp and Shapiro. I don't know where Sharp is. He just leaves the studio whenever he wants to. I think he goes to the bathroom about 8 times per show, but that's okay. I'm used to it. Anyway, welcome back to the show. That was a lot of fun having Frank Marino in studio. And, we've talked a lot sadly, about Kobe Bryant over the course of the last week and a half, the terrible tragedy where he and his 13-year-old daughter, Gigi, along with 7 others, lost their lives a week from Sunday. And, we're learning more details about the helicopter crash. We all want to know how it happened, why it happened, could it have been prevented? And sadly, it does seem like it should and could have been prevented. But, we had Oscar Goodman on the show last week, former mayor of Las Vegas. He talked about what Kobe Bryant meant for Las Vegas. I've interviewed Kobe Bryant on a number of occasions. But I love hearing these local stories, how Kobe Bryant helped pave the way for women in basketball is unprecedented. He's done so much for the WNBA and just women in general. And what he was doing with his daughter and the Mambasita clothing line that was going to come out, it's just so sad. But I think it's important to share these personal stories. And the young lady we have in studio with us right now, her name is Jennifer Miller-Gonzalez, and she helps run the Las Vegas Women's Basketball League, and she wanted to share her story about Kobe and how it helped influence her doing this. Jennifer, go ahead and put that microphone up to your face. How are you doing, by the way? Thanks for coming in.
I'm doing amazing. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, I appreciate it. So talk to me first about the first time you met Kobe Bryant. And what was that interaction like with him? Talk to me a little bit about that.
Sure. So I was actually a student at UNLV at the time, and I was a sports reporter for our university paper. And I was lucky enough to get a press pass for the 2008 Olympics as they were training here.
I was there for the FIBAs.
Yeah.
That was unbelievable. I'll never forget that for the rest of my life. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, it was amazing. Yeah, definitely. It took you back to that time initially.
I watched LeBron, sorry to interrupt, but you reminded me of something. I watched LeBron James and Kobe Bryant scrimmage against each other in a high school gym, Valley High School in 2008.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that for the rest of my life. In fact, that picture I just showed you is when I interviewed him during those practices. It was unbelievable. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no worries, because definitely it was my only interaction really when I did get to meet him. And as he was sitting there, he was talking about the Olympics, talking about his mindset and, definitely what it would be as a veteran on that team to be able to lead a group of all-stars, the best basketball players in the world, and how he was going to approach that and what it actually was going to take for him as a leader and as a basketball player. And obviously, I had already respected him as a basketball player, but definitely that respect was elevated that day in regards to looking to him as a leader and just as a man.
So explain to me how that conversation and what Kobe Bryant meant to you, and was that part of the reasoning why you put together this Las Vegas Women's Basketball League? Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, it was a huge component to that because he talked about thinking outside of the box, being able to see things before things happen. And at that time, I had just moved from Texas. And I grew up playing basketball. I love basketball. I still try to play. And that's essentially how that happened is I was going to every recreation center, every gym looking for a women's basketball league to play in. And all of them essentially laughed in my face and said, women's basketball leagues don't work. And I'm not asking you to name names, but I think that's a ridiculous thing to say. Yeah.
Who actually, not who, but where you go? You go into like local YMCA's or workout places, and you're trying to. So you're saying you're trying to organize a women's league, basketball. And by the way, there's plenty of women in this town that are good basketball players, and you're going up to these directors that deal with these types of things, and they're basically laughing in your face, and they're saying no, it would never work here.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it was very disheartening and angry. I was angry because they were essentially telling me the reasons why. I was like, wait, you're meaning to tell me that there's no women in Las Vegas that want to play basketball, that want to hoop? And they were like, well, we've tried it, but they don't show up. They're unaccountable. And so again, too, I'm like, wow, you're talking to a woman, right? And so, so at that point, I was just looking to join a league. So I went and I started to play in men's leagues because I was like, dude, I just want to play. So I went to the men's leagues. I started playing. That's what we had kind of like, we were alluding to. I was playing in the men's league at TARC.
Right.
But of course, I don't blame them at all. They say a little Asian person, she's a woman. I was treated differently. Not by everybody, but by a lot of people. Like, she can't play. What is she doing here? Why is she here? Let her shoot. That kind of, that banter.
Let me just say this because I used to officiate some of those games. Yeah. And listen, the majority of those guys are good dudes. Don't get me wrong, but you're always going to have one or two guys in every team that are just a-holes.
Yeah.
They're egomaniacs. They're not professional basketball players, but they think they are. They're has-beens, and it's usually the biggest jerks. They're the ones that are the worst players on the floor that I've noticed. I've had to deal with it as an official.
Yeah.
I could just tell you so many different stories of I just don't put up with it. I just throw them out of the game if they're disrespecting me.
Yeah.
But I'm really saddened to hear that they treated you that way, because what is it really all about?
Yeah.
It's about enjoying life, about enjoying the game of basketball and having fun. It's okay to be competitive. I get that.
Absolutely.
I'm very competitive.
Yeah.
But can't these middle-aged men just take a step back and say, hey, dude, what are we really doing here?
Yeah.
We're here to have fun.
Yeah. And I was pretty much like, bro, I'm pretty sure the last time I checked, we're on the same court. So, and none of us are getting paid. So
exactly.
And they didn't like that very much.
Well,
so
that's what I would say. I would say, dude, one of us is getting paid and one of us is not. Who would that be? That would be
Yeah.
my comeback to them.
Yeah.
I'm getting paid to do my job because I'm good at my job. You're paying
Yeah.
to play basketball.
No.
Nobody's paying you.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I'm sorry
So-
that you had to deal with some of those men. So moving
all
forward,
good.
how did you deal with that?
No, but I honestly, and it's funny because, yeah, definitely, again, kind of going back to Kobe's mentality, I took this whole, I love challenges. I love being taught crap too. I look at it as something that it's an opportunity for me to get stronger and get better. And I took that as like, okay, well, because there were some other girls that were playing, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure they're experiencing the same things. So I kind of took those girls off to the side and said, hey, if I started a league or if I started just get some pickup games going, would you show up? And that's kind of how that started, where I would just arrange court time and I would invite these girls that were already at the gym and say, hey, let's create this safe place, this opportunity for us to play where we're not going to get judged, where no one's going to yell at us, but we just come enjoy and play the sport that we're passionate about. So it was just pickup games at first, and I was like, hey, just make sure you tell whoever you see, like, be active about trying to get more girls here. So 2 teams turned into 4, turns into 8.
Wow.
Then I was like, oh crap, I got to get some officials here, and then
Right.
that was in 2008, so around that time. And then so now there's the women's league has 16 teams,
Wow,
anywhere
that's
between
awesome.
80 and 100 women that participate
incredible.
each season. And I'm very proud of that. Of every single woman that chooses to continue to play this.
That's
the sport that
incredible.
we love.
Congratulations on
Yeah.
that. So let me ask you this question. If you don't meet Kobe Bryant, if Kobe Bryant never existed, do you think that this league would be happening right now?
Absolutely not. No.
Really? That's
Yeah.
so powerful. And
Yeah.
your story is like, literally, I don't think I'm exaggerating, hundreds of thousands of other stories of men and women that
Yeah.
have played the game of basketball, some who are even in the NBA right now. And they say
Mhm.
the reason why they picked up a basketball is because of Kobe Bryant. But I think we need to emphasize this because it's so important. I mean, I saw Kobe Bryant and his daughter Gigi,
Mhm.
and it chokes me up thinking about this because I saw them sitting together at an Aces game 6 months ago. And the last thing on my mind was, boy, I better take a picture of them, because they might not be here anymore. And it's
Right.
like you're never guaranteed tomorrow. And I'm sitting like 10 feet away from them, and I took a couple nice pictures of him and his daughter.
Yeah.
And I shook Kobe's hand, and he doesn't know who the hell I am. I'm just another idiot that wants to shake his hand. But, I have interviewed him a bunch of times, and I just wanted to shake his hand. And I shook his hand, and I said, thank you for being here. And he said, thanks, man. And he gave me a thumbs up. Thank you.
Yeah.
And, I wish I did say hello to his daughter, and I didn't even know what his daughter's name was at the time, sadly. But what he did coaching, as a woman, what he did coaching his daughter's team
Yeah.
and being there every day, from what I understand, and hiring an assistant coach and hiring a staff. And I watched this video the other day, Jennifer, and it kind of chokes me up a little bit because it's a video of him. He let one camera crew in there just watching one of his daughter's practices. And I saw how great he was with these girls.
Mhm.
And he said, look, they're 12-year-old girls. You got to be patient, but we're going to work. And he was so complimentary of them, and he was so great. And this is arguably the best basketball player of all time. And I see some of these AAU coaches, and they're so mean to these kids, and they're so different than the way Kobe was. Now, Kobe was one mean SOB on the court
Right.
because he was a killer on the court, but that was different.
Yeah.
He was so great with these young girls.
Mhm.
And I think he should set the precedence, and he should set an example for all these other coaches that are teaching kids. It's not about winning and losing at 12 years old. It's about life lessons, getting better, but making sure they had fun. And I'll tell you something right now. His daughter, Gigi, God rest her soul, she was having fun.
Yeah.
Her dad was a hero to her, and she loved basketball, and he instilled that in her. Work hard, but have fun. And that's the thing that kind of chokes
and
me up.
she actually, she had a huge future. She
Oh,
was
yeah.
No
she was
question.
an extremely good athlete.
Yep.
With Kobe behind her, when she had the
Yeah.
Mambasita brand coming out that she didn't even know about. I mean, she could have really taken women's basketball and put it on the national
JD,
map. And
I agree.
the fact that she was taken from us early,
Yeah.
it's a really bad thing
JD,
for a whole number of reasons.
I agree, JD, and you got to watch this video. So I'm watching this practice. He says in the video that these girls had never even played basketball a year ago.
Wow.
And now I'm watching these girls in practice, and they're doing moves that I haven't seen, from a lot of adults,
Yeah.
like those leagues we were talking about. I mean, these girls have post moves, spin moves. He was such a great teacher, not just about basketball,
Yeah.
but about life.
Yeah.
So what? I just said a lot about Kobe, but
Yeah.
what are some of your things that you'll always remember about Kobe? Because I know you said you had met him back in 2008, and that's what
Mhm.
inspired you to start this women's league. But what are some of the things that you remember about Kobe that will remain with you for the rest of your life?
I think it was, well, definitely. I mean, that there's way too many times to just really pinpoint, but his ability to finish and rig the game, like in those moments of adversity, whenever he knew, I want the ball in my hands.
Right.
And I really think that's a mindset that we all need to adopt, to face our fears, face those hard moments. And when you do, there's so much reward on the other side.
Of course.
And so he just was such a magnificent way of displaying that on the basketball platform.
No question.
Yeah, so I think that's definitely memorable for me. I mean, we would watch those last second buzzer beaters like over and over and over again, and he just looked so poised, so ready to take on that moment. And I think that's, like I said, just such a parallel so well to life, in that we need to take on those moments and face
And he was able to do that because he was so prepared. He was over prepared.
Yeah.
He did those shots, those last second shots, by himself for 2 or 3 hours before every single game.
He always was that guy.
He trained so much more than everybody else, and it was cool how he wanted to be an overachiever despite the fact that he was very talented.
It's something that you either have or you don't. And we know Kobe Bryant he always would talk about how he would always ask people, how long are you in the gym every day? Well, I'm going to be in there longer than you. I'm going to work harder than you. But the thing about Kobe is there's something, it's an it. You either have it or you don't. And what I mean by that is wanting the basketball with 10 seconds left to go in a game and putting the game on your shoulders.
Yep.
Now, there are a handful of guys in the NBA right now that are comfortable with that.
Right.
But he was so comfortable with it at such a young age. I would argue LeBron James in his 20s was not that guy.
Right.
I don't think he was ever I'm not even sure he still is, but Kobe always had that about him.
It's a killer instinct, and you can see it in their eyes. Like Tom Brady has it, Larry Bird has it. When the time comes, you can just see their entire demeanor.
Jordan, he wanted that.
It just changes, and you can tell that they're totally determined, and not just determined, but confident that they can win this game.
Yeah.
What do you think Kobe Bryant would say if you were talking to him today and you said, you're the reason why we have 16 teams and an adult women's league in Las Vegas? What do you think he would say to that?
I would probably just thank you, or actually listening to me, because I think that's definitely his message, is just to inspire others to do whatever they want to do and be well at it. And so he inspired me, and I think that's just our life's goal, is to just have a purpose and have a meaning in this world. So.
Did you ever consider? I mean, obviously now is an extremely difficult time with Vanessa, but did you ever consider reaching out to the family, maybe writing them a letter or writing to Kobe's management and agent, and say, hey, I just want you guys to know that we started this adult league because of Kobe, because of your husband. I just want you to know that, because I bet you she would appreciate that, because my understanding is she has been very appreciative, and the family has been very appreciative at the outpouring of people.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard this, but they just took down all the stuff yesterday, and she's kept all that stuff.
Yeah.
That showed a lot of character. That meant something to me, that she really cares.
Yeah.
There are some people where they lose their life, and maybe that significant other, they're grieving, and in that process, they're grieving differently, and they don't want that stuff. But she wanted it.
Yeah.
I think that was really cool for her daughters to have that stuff, and all the notes and the letters, and it was so touching. I mean, and I've said this on the air a dozen times this week, and I'll say it again. A lot of celebrities and superstars have lost their lives in my lifetime. I've been sad, but I've never been emotional. There's a difference between being sad and being emotional. I've had several nights where I've been choked up, crying, just looking at the images of his family, the image that gets me the most, and there's plenty of them.
Sure.
But it is the All-Star Weekend. His daughter at the time, Gigi, she looked like she was like 7 or 8, and it's a picture. They're both wearing the All-Star jersey, and she's looking up to him with this look of love, and he's looking down to her, holding her hands. And I just see that, and another image that I put on my Facebook page. I think Gigi she looked like she was 3 or 4 years old, and they were just kissing each other on the basketball court after Kobe won the championship. And, these are images that will certainly never leave my mind, and as I'm sure they won't yours either.
Absolutely. And I think, kind of like how you said, it's a testament to the woman that she is, and probably, a big part of what Kobe saw in her initially is her ability to hold her family together and want to respect and honor everyone that loved him so much.
Sure.
She was good with sharing him with the world and knowing that he could add value to so many people.
Absolutely.
And so, I definitely, to that question, would love to. It wasn't my initial thought, but I would want it to be, carefully crafted and from our entire league, because it's so interwoven. I mean, each woman adds so much value and provides a different piece to what the Women League does. We're professionals, we're wives, we're mothers, we're daughters, we're sisters, we're friends. I always say that we're pioneers within this community because we're choosing to continue to play the sport that we love while still doing all of those things.
So
right?
for our female listeners, logistically, talk about quarter length. What do you play till? Like, talk about logistics of the league.
Well, we do two 20-minute halves.
Running clock.
Yeah.
That's standard.
Yeah, pretty standard. I mean, besides 2 minutes, second half, we'll stop for dead balls and things like that. But yeah, there's like 8 to 10 women per team. So we can get some good subs and everything.
Where do you play?
We out of Hoop City.
Hoop City's nice. Yeah, I've been there before. That's awesome. Yep. Isn't that towards Henderson?
Yeah, more south.
Yep.
And it's only got 2 courts in there, so it's definitely more intimate. So we take up both courts, and so it's just a gym full of women playing basketball. Because at some of the other gyms, if there's more courts, sometimes they'll want to fill up the courts, get there, and I completely get it. But at that point, it's kind of like we're not worried around, we're not looking around, no one's judging us, and we just get to be there and play.
Do a lot of significant others show up?
I wish there was more.
Yeah.
But the dads and husbands and brothers that actually do show up, they are like, they'll make signs. I mean,
That's cool.
It's so cool to
sweet.
kind of see them to continue to support like their like moms, wives, or sisters.
Or even parents, I guess.
Yeah.
Women can be very competitive. There's no question about it.
Absolutely.
Women in my family. But with that being said,
I'm
correct me if you. But with that being said,
yeah.
I do think that women see it more as what it is. It's family.
Yeah.
It's friends. It's enjoying the game. Yeah, you want to win. I get it. It's competitive.
Yep.
I think at times the men playing in these leagues, not all of them, but some of them, take it a step too far. They're way too competitive. They think they're in the NBA finals. And I don't see some of the women that do play, like I said, they're very competitive. But I think they show a little bit more respect towards the other teammates, teammates, the opposing and officials. And that's just my...
Yes, there's a difference between competitive and crazy.
Right. There are some crazy... I've had people follow me to my car after games before.
And I'm like, dude, there's no scout here. You're not getting a contract.
You're having fun.
We're all good.
And listen, competition is fun.
And it's exercise, so you're staying in shape.
Which I need, by the way.
And I think at the end of the day, it's having a respect for people. That if you genuinely respect somebody, you're not going to follow them to the car and understand, like, hey, I think you called that against me because you don't like me. It's like, I don't even know you do.
No, I've had people trust me. Trust me, I've had people say a lot. I've had people say a lot worse things to me on this radio show and in basketball games. Trust me. If you're just joining us, we're speaking with Jennifer Miller-Gonzalez. She met Kobe Bryant dating back to about 12 years ago. And she says Kobe Bryant's the reason why they now have this Las Vegas Women's Adult Basketball League with 16 teams. That is so awesome, man. So talk to me. My understanding is you have an event coming up on Sunday, right?
Yes.
Can you talk to me? Give me the specifics about this event so we can get some people involved.
Yeah, so it's actually, it's going to run throughout the whole season, actually. So each week we are doing something to pay honor to Kobe's legacy and as well as Gigi. So this week coming up, we're honoring all of the hashtag girl dads.
That's cool.
So any dad that's affiliated or associated with the league, again, whether it's a dad, brother, cousin, whatnot, that comes and supports the league. We're going to be taking pictures. We're going to have a raffle, do some of those things. And then each week as well, we wanted to be able to donate to one of Kobe's charities.
That's awesome.
So this week we're going to do the Mamba Sports Foundation.
That's great.
So we'll have something, that everyone that coming in can do a donation and then we'll submit it to the Mamba Sports Foundation.
That is so cool. That's so awesome. So give me the logistics. If people want to contact you and be a part of this league, if there is a mother or a sister or whoever that's listening right now that wants to be a part of your basketball league, give the information on about what the pricing is like, the scheduling is like.
Yep.
Who would they contact?
So they would contact me. We have a website. It's www.heroesbasketballleague.com. We're on Instagram at lvwbball.com. So essentially what happened was, and again, this is a bigger picture, but our Heroes League is our nonprofit that sits on top of the Women's Basketball League because I have a bigger vision to want to help and provide this platform for women on all sports platforms and organizations. But anywho,
cool.
I love basketball, so that's where my heart's at.
You and me both. We definitely have that in
So we're
common.
starting with basketball. So that's
those kicks are serious.
these are my.
You're wearing the Kobe shoes, huh?
Those are serious kicks.
I like that.
Yeah.
The Kobe shoes. I love that. And you're decked out in your Lakers jacket.
If you want to watch us on
this
YouTube.
jacket is like 14 years old. So I'm this
Did
is
you
like
play,
my loyal, I kept it. Like I have a bunch of stuff. But
You played high school
I played
basketball.
in
I
high
would imagine.
school.
You
Yeah.
were what, a 2 guard?
Yeah, 1 and 2. I was
Yeah.
mainly point guard.
Yep. And
Dead-eye shooter.
I was sniper. Yeah.
So you went to
Absolutely.
UNLV as a sports writer, and you were
Yeah.
able to go to one of their practices, which is cool. You were
Mhm.
probably at the same practice I was at.
Yeah.
I had hair on my head back then. But what do you do for a living now?
So I actually work at My Vegas magazine.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's
yeah,
great.
So, I
So
still
you're a
work
writer
in
there.
the journalism field. Yeah, absolutely. That's definitely, I love storytelling. Being able to highlight the people that need to be highlighted that might not necessarily know how to tell a story.
Yeah.
And I really love that component of it. But definitely, yeah, for that basketball league, I would love for any woman that is looking to play, because I was that girl. I was that girl that was just looking for other women that wanted to play and wanted to move, play basketball with other girls.
So Vegas has the Aces, obviously the WNBA team. Do you attend?
You stole my next question.
Absolutely. do you attend those games, and have you had any interaction with the Aces? at all?
Yes, absolutely. It is so awesome to go to the game and actually see fans like super engaged.
Really?
You
Yeah.
know, and know that they're rallying behind, this women's professional basketball team. And I think, nothing is happenstance. Like everything happens for a reason. And it was very serendipitous to be there, watching. And I took a moment to step back and go like, Las Vegas has a professional women's basketball team. I own a women's basketball league. This is happening.
By the way, JD did not mention, he failed to mention, he is obsessed with Kelsey Plum.
Oh,
He
well,
is.
I mean,
He's
she's a
obsessed.
baller.
I am definitely a good-sized Kelsey Plum fan.
And you know what? Right?
There's nothing to be ashamed of.
She's on the USA basketball team now.
Yeah.
They just played UConn.
Really?
And the UConn women's team, I wanted to mention this because I think what the UConn women did was very, very awesome. So Gigi, Kobe talked about this all the time, and Gigi did. Gigi's dream was to play for the UConn Women Huskies.
Yeah.
Of course, it's a storied program. I grew up in Connecticut.
Mhm.
Gina Oriyama, coaching out there. So they had a game last week, and they actually reserved a seat, and they put Gigi's Mamba team
the-
jersey on
the
that
seat.
seat. That was,
Mhm.
I thought that was so cool, man.
Yeah.
We cannot forget as a society. I don't care whether I grew up a Celtics fan, and I never hated Kobe Bryant. I always loved the guy.
Yeah.
We can never forget, what Kobe Bryant has meant. Your story, there's hundreds of thousands of others just like yours.
Yeah.
And we can't forget that. By the way, for me anyway, it's about not just Kobe Bryant, the basketball player, but even more importantly, Kobe Bryant, the human being,
Absolutely.
and the person,
Yeah.
and the father that he was, and what he meant to people like you. You
Yeah.
know, that inspirational, right?
Absolutely.
While we all respect Michael Jordan, and we know him to be a god as far as basketball.
Yep.
I'm not sure there's as many Michael Jordan stories out there of how many people he touched, seriously,
Yeah.
as there is Kobe Bryant.
It's funny, not funny, but yeah, absolutely. You can definitely tell that Kobe, after, and what you mentioned, after leaving the game of basketball, he didn't just say like, okay, cool, I was a great basketball player, thanks for playing, He wanted to do more with his life.
And people said
And-
he was the
and
happiest.
He did. I mean, he won Academy Award. And
Yeah.
let's be honest, winning an Academy Award, it's not just a popularity contest. Leonardo
But here's-
DiCaprio only has one, and he's one of the most popular actors,
Here's-
in Hollywood.
Right, but here's what
he started a hedge fund. He started a media company. I mean,
Right.
everything he touched, he basically turned to gold. I mean,
Yeah.
he was very good at everything he did, and he put his mind to it.
But here's the part that makes me happiest and saddest the most, is that the people that were close to Kobe, including LeBron James, who said the other day, and I've heard this from others as well, the last 3 years of Kobe's life were the happiest.
Yeah.
They saw him the happiest because
Yep.
he didn't have to worry so much about winning.
Mhm.
It was all about family. And I
Yeah.
think that goes to show you the character that was Kobe Bryant. It wasn't about ego. He wanted to spend more time with his family. And sadly, it's what cost him his life
Yeah.
because he was taking these helicopter rides
Yeah.
to spend more family time. Heck, he was going to his daughter's basketball game.
Yeah.
So we only have one more minute,
Okay.
Jennifer, and I appreciate you coming in.
Yeah.
If you can give me the information, if somebody wants to be a part of your league, if somebody even just wants to donate and not play, or just support these women,
Yeah.
give out the information of where they go,
Yeah.
who they contact if they
Yeah.
want to be a part of your league.
Yeah. So that'd be me. Yeah. The heroesbasketballleague.com, lvwbball.com. You can call my cell phone number. Can I give my cell phone
Sure,
number?
go ahead.
361-443-3754. It's been the same number for 14 years. It's still a Texas number. I'm a Texas gal. I'm Southern. I love it. I just, want to be able to do that. I have my shirt on Sundays. It's every Sunday. On
That's
Sundays, we wear sneakers. You can come hoop with us. That's our tagline.
That's awesome.
And so, yeah. And I want to shout out my kid because I actually did. His middle name is Bryant. I was pregnant with my child whenever I talked to Kobe.
That's so
and kind of
cool.
like, that was kind of the thing. I was like, I'm going to name a kid after you.
Isn't that amazing? That's so
Yeah,
cool. Well,
that's how
thank you so much for coming in. Thank you so much for sharing your story. We really do appreciate it. And we've
Yeah.
actually put up that website on our Twitter page as well. Thanks for joining us,
Thank you.
everybody. 21-hour break we're going to take. Sean Hannity coming up next, folks. Have a great day.
She became overweight, stinky, several vertical